1150.com.
If I'm gonna do this, I'll need my news team at my side.
News team, assemble!
Howdy, Aggie Land. Welcome to the SEC.
Our program will be built on 4 principles in which I talk about all the time: toughness, effort, discipline, and pride.
Dang it! I'm going to have to buy that boy cream cone.
Now I'm distracted on my point. What were we talking about?
It's bullcrap. All I care about is winning. Show me the dang baby.
You do it till they do it right, and then you do it till they can't do it wrong.
Go get him. Why are you dancing around? Eat him like he's a steak.
He fits what TexAgs radio is about. He fits into what the listeners are going to want. He's a pro on every level.
That's how long I've been on ya.
It's Nuño and the crew on TexAgs Radio, right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
You know how long I've been on ya. Since Prince was on Apollonia. Since OJ had isotone.
And we're off. We call it TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. I don't know why I say we call it. You guys know what the show is if you're listening. Unless you're driving by and just, I want to see what's on the radio. Olin Buchanan with me. Go hour as we start off our show every morning. OB, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. It is a good morning.
You walked in with a purpose, and I asked you if you were mad. You're like, no, I'm just ready to work.
Yeah.
You were focused.
I was focused. When we talked about it, I usually go home around 12:30 to 1 every day, but that doesn't mean I stop working, right? So
right.
I go home, and I'll a lot of times start, crunching some numbers or doing some research for articles I may do later. And so
right.
I had done some of that yesterday, and I, came in with the idea of sharing some
I
information.
love when you do that because it becomes show content, but also I think it helps you kind of, what's the word I want to look? I used to use marinate, but it allows you to kind of explore more into that topic.
Yeah, that's what it does. Explore the space.
You love to explore
the space.
You're an explorer. You're like Ponce de Leon.
I am like Ponce de Leon. There is a De Leon, Texas, by the way.
There is.
And I think his name was actually pronounced Ponce de
Ponce de Leon.
Yeah.
But
a bunch of white folks were saying, that Ponce de Leon, Leon.
In Houston, there's a road called San Felipe, but it's really San Felipe.
Of course it is.
But people, Spanish, English, doesn't matter. It's San Felipe.
One of my first girlfriends, and we're going back when I'm 7th grade, the lovely Ruth Robles.
Ruth from Ozark.
Which was Ruth Robles,
okay.
Which, of course, was supposed to be Robles.
Robles. Oh, yeah.
But of course, in my school, she was Robles, whether she wanted to be or not.
Obie, do you remember?
I wonder whatever happened to Ruth.
This is my second off season, if you will, because I started in July of last year, and that's when NIL started and things got crazy. But do you remember an off season, and I'm sure you've done this for a long time, where there's been this much non-football being discussed for most of the offseason? This is just the direction I think sports in general are going because they want to make it all sports year-round. But,
yeah. Well, I mean, do you consider what happened with the exchange between Jimbo and
that's non-football?
That's non-football.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So was the exchange last year when said we're going to beat his ass?
I think that's more football.
That's football. Okay.
I don't look. I'm not the judge and jury here. I'm just, in my opinion, that is football chat, and the other stuff that has happened just feels like business turning into drama.
Well, yeah, I think anytime there are changes in conferences, that's going to dominate conversation. Now, is that going to be?
You got that.
Yeah.
You got NIL.
Mm-hmm.
You got real transfers happening. Right?
But that would be football, right? Real transfers.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah. But it's no, because I think whenever you talk about like NFL offseason that's not football, free agency, it can be whatever you want it to be.
Okay.
How about that? It can be. But it's just been, it has carried our offseason along with some awesome basketball and baseball. Don't get me wrong. But I'm saying when football does dominate most of the show, we've had a lot of stuff to talk about that's not actually hut.
Yeah. Maybe this year more than ever because we've never really had a lot of NIL to talk about in the offseason, right?
Yeah.
So you got that and expansion of conferences. That's always going to dominate conversation. So quite frankly, I think after spring football and before SEC Media Days, it's kind of a football wasteland because you've already spent the whole spring talking about who might do what, and then until you get to SEC Media Days. I mean, we still talk about it, but now it becomes even more important, even more focused.
Yeah.
I can still talk about, we've been talking about A&M's quarterback situation since the ending of last season.
Honestly, we've been talking about it since the Colorado game.
Well, that too.
It's been a while.
But it was under the football umbrella then, right?
Yeah.
We've been talking about it, but now it's going to be a time to, you don't just talk about it. Now you not investigate, but now you just really dive into it even more.
So when people talk about Haynes King and his starts and yada, 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 yes, he has started 2 games. He has not played in 2 games. He had 2, not even 2 drives in the Colorado game. I mean, he started the second drive.
He got hurt on the second drive.
Yeah. Second play of the second drive, right?
Third, I think.
Third, okay.
But what did he play, like maybe 7, 8 plays in that game?
Yeah. And then Kent State, he played, what, 3 quarters? Well, I mean, Zach came in, right?
I don't recall. Remember, that game was uncomfortably close.
Yeah.
Until Leon O'Neal returned that interception for a touchdown.
Unfortunately, it was one of those, this is, it was never in doubt. But it was this is going a little slower than we expected.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going back to the Kent State, Texas A&M game. I think Zach played. I might be wrong, but I think Zach played.
He might have, but.
He did. He went 0 for 1. So that's not really playing either, but he did go 0 for 1 in that game. By the way, in that game, and we all remember the Haynes King interceptions, but there were some wide receiver issues in a couple of those. He went 21 of 33, 292 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 3 picks.
Yeah, and you know what? If one of those picks had become an incompletion or completion, I think his the way outsiders look at it, they would have said, he had a really solid game. There's something about going from 2 picks to 3 picks.
I believe
looks so much worse.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
That's okay.
I believe outsiders have selective memory. Maybe insiders do too. But they pick a moment as the moment. And that moment could be people remember Zach Calzada for Alabama.
Absolutely.
How could you get rid of this guy? He beat Alabama, the Dragon Slayer that he is. Okay. And then we didn't get rid of him. He decided to transfer because he probably was not going to start. But with Haynes King, I believe, and I could be wrong here, they remember 2 incidents. The spring game, which nobody looked good in the spring game, and I believe there were reasons for that, wind being a huge part of it. And they remember a couple of picks against Kent State. That's what they remember when they talk about him.
I don't even think they remember the picks.
Okay.
I think they remember the stat that shows 3 picks.
Sure, there you go.
Could you tell me where those 3 picks were?
I believe he had an early one.
He did. Yeah. They were driving and getting close to score. I think one went off a receiver's hands, and then one, I think he had 2 guys in the same vicinity.
Well, they scored on their first drive, and he threw a pick, looks like towards the end of the first quarter. With 5 minutes left in the first quarter, first quarter.
So what happens is you have our national experts that say, Haynes King threw 3 interceptions. He can't be good. Okay, you know what? Here's what the take I have on all that from the national thing. And I brought up earlier this week that Sports Illustrated picks A&M 6th and then says they're 8-4, which, it's like lying to yourself, like arguing with yourself in the mirror, right?
Sorry. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, just like that. But
I went down the wrong hole. Pardon.
I think you've distracted me from my point.
If Lucci was here, he'd be out of the studio. It'd be over.
Oh, gosh. So many things I want to say. That whole thing I've completely
derailed the show.
Anyway.
What were we saying?
I was talking about picks and whatnot.
I did have a thought I wanted to bring up, and I feel like another cough is coming. That was him. That was not me. That I saw a quarterback ranking the other day, and it had Quinn Ewers as the 10th best quarterback in the country.
Yeah, and how do you
know that? Did he play at all last year?
I'm sure he got in, just like Zach did against Kent State. But
how is that even a possibility?
Well, it's Texas, and then it's the hype that, somebody called him the best quarterback in the country.
Wasn't Haynes King one of the best coming out too?
He was a high 4-star, but Ewers was being touted as the number one player in the country.
I just went to his stats at Ohio State. You know how many stats he had?
Maybe 5 throws?
According to ESPN, 0 of 0 of 0.
Okay.
Didn't even get in.
So this is so what do you base it on? Well, okay, we're saying, he was good in high school.
His junior year.
Yeah. Because if you're going to base on what they did in high school, wouldn't you rank Cade Klubnik ahead of him? Because I watched that state championship game, and Klubnik, now somebody will say, Ewers was hurt. Okay, but he's still playing. But Klubnik was the guy that was impressive in that game.
Look, and I'm not saying Quinn Ewers might be one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the country. I have to see him play at this level to make. If I use that same kind of barometer with the A&M quarterbacks, I kind of have to see it first to believe it. For sure, I'm saying it about the rest of the guys that haven't played as well. Like, I have seen Bryce Young be one of the best quarterbacks in football. I've seen C.J. Stroud be one of the best quarterbacks. I have not seen Tyler Van Dyke do it, but I understand why people talk about Tyler Van Dyke.
Well, see, here's what you're searching for the elusive Bigfoot of college football, which means you're searching for the objectivity of the national.
Not gonna happen.
Of the national media, you're looking for the even-handed reporting. You're looking for the guy that'll say, well, if the quarterback at A&M, I haven't seen him play, then I can't rank him. I have to question A&M because I haven't seen enough of their quarterback. But I can say Texas is going to be this, even though their quarterback's not played.
Well, and again, Arch Manning was getting props before he went to Texas as the best quarterback in the country. And I have watched very limited Arch Manning. I've heard he's got all the credentials, the stature, he asks the right questions, yada, yada, yada. But if his name were Bill Peterson, would he be the best quarterback in the country? I don't know.
I don't know. It's a valid question to ask, and I'm going to assume that he's all they say he is, because I'm not going to disparage a high school kid that I have not seen play.
There you go.
And I do know this: if Arch Manning was coming to A&M, our message boards would be celebrating it.
Sure.
What I'm saying is, with Quinn Ewers, I get it that he was highly ranked. But to call him one of the 10 best quarterbacks in the country in college when he hadn't played, to me, is once again that national media that for some reason is always expecting the absolute best at Texas, while at other places always are saying, well, they take a wait and see attitude with everybody else. But when it's a program like Texas, it's absolutely, I am willing to go. And here's what they do. The national media, think of it as a poker game. If you're going to talk about A&M or other schools, some other programs, you can be looking at the 4 cards on the table and say, I'm not ready to make a bet. But when it comes to a guy like Quinn Ewers in Texas, in this case, they haven't even dealt the cards yet, and I'm going all in. I'm going all in because.
But why? But why? Like why Texas? How many national championships have they had in the last 50 years?
In the last 50? Probably one.
Okay.
70, 80, 90, 2000. Yes, one.
One. Okay. They've won one national championship in the last 50 years. The national media is not in Texas. What is it? Is it because that Texas acts that way, so people perceive them that way?
I think there's a lot of elements into it. I think part of it is just like everybody, national media looks at the recruiting rankings and say they should be better, and then they look at the Big 12 and they say, how could they not be good in this conference, in this weak conference? They should be at least second every year. And then, when Texas inevitably is disappointing, then they look for excuses, and then they say, "Oh, well, but now look what they have."
Let me read this out loud from Lou and Brian on the A&B text line. You can do that as well, 979-693-1150, or you can call us up on the BCSI hotline. I disagree, David. I think Connor looked great in the spring game. Did I say Connor? Or I think we were talking Haynes, right?
You said Haynes.
Yeah. Maybe he means Haynes. He would be my starter based on the ball placement with his passes. Best of the QBs by far. If he meant Connor, I don't think we talked Connor, but I can understand. I think I made the comment we really couldn't assess all three quarterbacks. I said something to that effect because of the wind. But people came away from that game disappointed with quarterback play at A&M because they were looking to be disappointed with the quarterback play at A&M at the spring game.
I came away thinking nobody was great, but the best one of the three was Max Johnson. But, I don't know why we're not hearing how Connor Weckman's not one of the top quarterbacks in the country because, well, he didn't play.
In 2 years.
Neither did yours.
In 2 years when he starts, or whenever it is, in 6 weeks, in a year and a half, when he starts, I hope he's on that top 10 as well.
Well, I
keep that same energy before he plays.
But I pretty much guarantee he will not be.
He will not be. There'll be there's questions about him.
Unless he transfers to Texas.
Oh, then, oh, my God.
Then
if Zach Calzada transferred to Texas, Heisman watch.
Probably. I don't know if it had gone that far, but it
Really?
might. It
Really?
might. Yeah. I think the
I hate that I have
media,
to say this, too. I love Zach. I'm just saying he's not that level.
He wasn't last year,
Sure.
except for one game. He can get better.
He will
he's
get
by
better.
no means a finished product. Well, he may not because he was surrounded by better ability than he's going to have at Auburn.
Hey, we got to go around and say hi quickly. Sam came in behind the glass. Good morning, Sam. How are you?
Good morning. There was one quarterback that y'all are forgetting of that was on low on the radar when he was a freshman, and that was Johnny. He wasn't even supposed to start. It was supposed to be over. He was.
But that wasn't just national media. That was
local
readers, because when I suggested in a July column that it was going to be quite a competition, I got beat down on my own thread.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. What else you have for us, Sam?
There's not much besides Twitter being down. I couldn't really help you too much today on the rundown because Twitter was down, and that's how I consume my news, trying to help you out,
Let me introduce you to a thing called Google. You write college football, Google it, and news. Things pop up. Or ESPN, CBS Sports, Saturday Down South. There's different ways to get your information.
I'm looking for the trending stuff,
Google Trends.
Yeah. I guess
because whatever you see on Twitter, you can etch that in stone.
Yeah,
everything on the internet's perfect and real.
Hey, let's do this. Let's hit a break. Kay, I know I got to go to you. We'll go to you when we start the next segment because we're way late for it. And when we come back, we're going to go through the top 12 moments in the year that I've been here, number 5 on the list. It might have something to do with another soundbite from Jimbo. I'm just saying. It might have to. It does. There's no doubt about that. We'll have that, plus some news there from Kay Nagley at the News and Social Center. Right now, we want to talk about the Association of Former Students. They've been around for over 140 years. And in the year that I've been back, and really before I was around, I've always known about their impact. But getting close to the organization, getting close to Porter Garner and his great family, and seeing Randy do his great work, and Lexi as well, just such a wonderful group of people out there that just continue to strive to do amazing things for Aggies. That's what they do, all right? They love to give. They give it to former students. They give it to current students. They're just a bunch of great givers. And the reason they do that is for people like you. You are their why. When they ask the question, why are you doing this? Why do you do it? You are the why. All the Aggies are out there are the why. So that's why I suggest you go to IamTheWhy.com. That's a website with a collection of stories about Aggies. And I hope you'll check it out. Especially with Aggie Park about to open, not far away at all. Just kind of see the impact that they've had and the way people have really persevered through some tough times and how the association has helped them in many of those situations. It is IamTheWhy.com. Again, IamTheWhy.com.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. BCS Habitat for Humanity is hosting its annual Bowl to Build tournament on Friday, July 15th from 6 to 9 p.m. at Grand Station Entertainment. Space is limited, so go online to habitatbcs.org to learn more and sign your team up today. Welborn Community Center is having a garage sale Saturday morning from 8 to noon. Local law enforcement agencies are participating in a rowing competition to raise funds to support the Sexual Assault Resource Center. Battle of the Badges is Saturday, July 16th at Row House College Station. The event is open to the public. Visit sarcbv.org. Find out more about current and upcoming events and exhibitions at the University Art Galleries in the MSC. Go online to uart.tamu.edu. Enter now at zone1150.com to win your Texas Summer Survival Kit thanks to Field to Family. Win tickets to Fiesta Texas, the Bombers, the Cinemark Theater, and gift cards to Superior Auto Service and Field to Family. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Optimum Mobile wants those good summertime vibes to last all year with big savings. Get 1 gigabyte of data for just $5 a month for the first 12 months. And because Optimum Mobile is on the network outperforming Verizon with the best 5G availability, you can keep those good summer feelings going. Because you'll stay connected at the beach, at the park, at the barbecue, and on the road. Really, anywhere you go this summer. With Optimum Mobile, you get 5G access included, plus unlimited talk and text at a great value. Maybe that's why Optimum Mobile was voted #1 in customer satisfaction by our customers. Get closer with mobile savings and go farther all year long with mobile service for $5 a month for 12 months. Learn more at Optimum.com/summer5 or visit your local Suddenlink store today. 1 gigabyte plan, $5 a month for first 12 months. $20 activation fee applies. Then auto renews at standard monthly rates. Offer subject to discontinuance or change at any time while supplies last. 5G not available in all areas. Other terms and conditions apply.
Howdy, gun-loving enthusiast. The Six Bullets Gun Show is back in Bryan this weekend at the Brazos County Expo. That's this Saturday and Sunday, July the 16th and 17th. All your favorite gun companies in one place. Got any guns to sell? Bring them to the show. Thousands of buyers will be there. Admission is only $10. Come check us out at sixbulletstx.com. The Six Bullets Gun Show is this weekend at the Brazos County Expo. At Six Bullets, we got your six.
The Louis Bellina Show and Field to Family would love for you and your family to have the bestest, greatest summer ever. Enter now, go to zone1150.com, and you can win a Texas Summer Survival Kit. Go to Fiesta Texas, Six Flags, go to Cinemark Theater, go to a Brazos Valley Bombers game, win a gift card to Superior Auto Service, and Field to Family. Enter now, you can win Treat the Family to a Texas Summer Survival Kit. Go to zone1150.com.
Good morning. TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Two things I want to say before we get to Kay. First off, I ran into Billy yesterday at the park, and I told him the story. I'll tell it to you. My wife sent me, one of the good things Facebook does is it reminds you of memories.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah. That may be the best thing they do.
So she sent me one from July 12th, 2011. Okay? And it's just something that'll, I think, sums up my family or me.
Okay.
From 2011. Every picture I've taken of Cruz over the past 3.5 months, he's wearing a Batman shirt. Does that sound like a Nuño family trademark?
That sounds like a chip off the old block.
And the reason I'm bringing it up is because you were talking about Sam not being the Dark Knight.
He came in and he had this hood on, and he says, "I'm the Dark Knight." I said, "Sam, at your very worst, you're the Dusky Knight."
There was a movie, wasn't it Zorro? And there was two different versions.
Yeah.
Zorro, not Zorro. What movie I'm thinking about? He is basically the opposite of the Dark Knight. How about that?
Yeah.
He's
the bright day. I don't know.
Actually, they called Harvey Dent the White Knight. So he's more like Harvey Dent. You don't know what I'm talking about now.
I do know who you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, Two-Face.
Wasn't he like the attorney general that got something exploded on him or something and made him crazy, and he had one side he looked normal and the other side of his face is all
look at that.
messed up. I mean, I saw the movie.
It's a good movie. A great
movie.
I
couldn't have,
better than Thor. Part 4, I'll tell you that. The other thing I wanted to say, and Kay, I promise we're coming to you, is that I told you this last year, this exact date. July 14th is a very important day in our family. My daughter was in a near drowning July 14th of 2014, so it's been 8 years. She was in ICU for a week. She fell in a pool. We were leaving a party, and she had taken off her puddle jumper, which is like a floaty, and because she thought she still had it on as we were leaving, she fell in. She was airlifted in the hospital for a week. And I say that because it was a happy ending for us. We were in the hospital that same evening with a very similar story where it was not a happy ending. So I don't take that moment for granted at all. And one of the things that's very important to our family is it's safety, pool safety. My daughter didn't know how to swim at that time. She did a triathlon the next year at 4 years old. So she figured that part out. But beyond that is also knowing CPR. I did not know CPR that day. My wife did. That saved my daughter's life. I know CPR now, and I just recommend everybody out there learn CPR. It doesn't take hard. The American Heart Association's got a kit that you can get and teach you at home with a little. It's super simple, something that I think everybody, especially with older folks at home or kids at home, should know. So I just wanted to make sure I got that out.
It was a happy ending, and
thankful.
And I can imagine, every day on this date, it's cause for celebration.
It is.
Your household.
I get emotional thinking about it. It was terrible. Let's go to the News and Social Center. Kay Nagley, bring up the mood.
Good morning.
Morning.
There it is. Mood is brought up.
Oh, yeah. Starting off with some news today. If you do get bored, A&M Athletics is taking over the SEC Network today with 10 on-field events across 7 Texas A&M sports, and coming up at 8:30, you can start your day off with some men's basketball, watching them beat the hell out of Auburn in the SEC tournament.
Let me just go ahead and make sure that everybody realizes you can do that as long as you are watching us in some way, shape, or form. Have it in the background on your tablet or on your television, but make sure you keep it on TexAgs.
Laptop has TexAgs Radio, TV has SEC Network, double tasking. Also,
but hey, we got the CW watching us, so keep the CW going. Go ahead, Kate.
That too. 17 Aggies will be competing in their respective countries at the World Athletics Outdoor Championships beginning July 25th through the 24th at Hayward Field, 6 of which competed during the 2022 track and field season, including Deborah Acura, Lamar Diston, Brandon Miller, Mpoke, Emmanuel Yabora, and Cherokee Young. So good luck to all those Aggies.
Let's go. Let's get it going. What else do you have for us?
That's all for today.
All right. Thank you very much, Kay. We'll get you back here in a moment. OB, it's now time to do the top 12 moments of the year. We go to number 5 since I've been here on July 6th, marked 1 year. Number 5 is, so yesterday we had a soundbite. It was Jimbo telling the world I'd be the dumbest person ever, dumbest human being on earth to leave this great recruiting class for LSU. Well, Jimbo again had it, but there was a reason he had a strong soundbite, and that's because of Nick Saban trying to talk to his boosters, if you will, or some influential people in the Alabama area about Texas A&M. This was Nick Saban here a couple months ago.
But I know the consequence is going to be difficult for the people who are spending tons of money to get players. And you've read about them. You know who they are. I mean, we were second in recruiting last year. A&M was first. A&M bought every player on their team, made a deal for name, image, and likeness. All right, we didn't buy one player.
Liar.
Yeah,
all right, but I don't know if we're going to be able to sustain that in the future.
That's not true.
Because more and more people are doing it.
You've been doing it the entire time. You've never not done it, ever. So that was what Nick said. And it's amazing how I think everybody was on Team Jimbo at that point, but time has changed or distance has changed people's opinion. This was Jimbo Fisher the next morning.
We never bought anybody. No rules were broken. Nothing was done wrong. It was all and the way we do things, the ethics in which we do things. And these families, it's despicable that a reputable head coach could come out and say this when he doesn't get his way or things don't go his way. The narcissist in him doesn't allow those things to happen, and it's ridiculous. But when he's not on top, and the parity in college football he's been talking about, go talk to coaches who coach for him. You'll find out all the parity. Go dig into wherever he's been. You can find out anything. And it's a shame that you got to sit here and defend 17-year-old kids and families and Texas A&M because we do things right. We're always going to do things right. But we're all.
That was great stuff.
It was.
I know some people have soured on it since, national media-wise. In the beginning, everybody was about it. But you know what? I have moved on from it. I know Nick Saban has not, at least on game day. And neither has Jimbo.
Who cares what? Nick Saban puts together a really good football team, and he's obviously a great football coach. But it's as if everything he says, people think is gospel.
Yep.
And quite frankly, I'm not saying that I don't get people say he's the Lord of college football, because I'm just saying I know another word that's really close to Saban that doesn't, that, I don't think him as he's the Dark Lord of.
Let's do this.
He's a Saban worshiper.
Let's hit a break here because Stephen McGee's going to join us. We'll do that. But right now, we're talking Chance McClain of Heritage Films. And it's become our bit this year, or the last couple of weeks. One thing I love to do is I love superheroes. And there's one guy out there who is really changing people's lives for the good by saving your story. And that man is?
Heritage Man.
What happened to your voice?
Do it like Batman. Heritage Man.
That's the one. The 1950s superstar Heritage Man, Chance McClain. All right, I won't do that joke for about a week. I'm done with that. I had to do it for a little bit.
I'm Heritage Man.
Do it a different way. Try to find a weird, awkward way to do it.
A weird, awkward.
Just something different.
Heritage Man.
That's like Olin Buchanan saying it.
That's weird and awkward.
Do it at Dennis Green saying Heritage Man.
Dennis Green, the old coach. Okay.
Or no, Jim Moore. Give me Jim Moore, a Heritage Man.
Heritage Man. Playoffs. Heritage Man.
They make documentaries.
I was going to say, Heritage Man is who he thought he was.
Chance told me on the phone the other day, he's like, hey, when you do my spot, you can have fun with it. Like, you don't have to tell, the information that I do. You don't have to tell them about the documentary. Just tell them about me, or tell us about just random stories about us. So that's why I did that.
Okay.
He does do amazing documentaries. That I can guarantee.
Well, I know you've talked about the one he did on
my
with
pops.
Your father, and I know you're very proud of it.
Yeah, we're going to show him on July 31st on his 92nd birthday. Can't wait for that.
92nd.
YourHeritageFilm.com is the website. YourHeritageFilm.com. 713-893-8341. 713-893-8341.
It's like when they replaced Aunt Viv on The Fresh Prince. David Nuño on TexAgs Radio. Weekdays on The Zone.
Here's Brad Beard of Intercon.
If you have considered replacing the windows in your brick veneer home, you may have been told that it would be necessary to either remove the brick or tear up the inside of your window box. You need to know that Intercon replaces windows and brick every day, and we don't tear up anything except the window which is being removed. By installing windows every day, Intercon personnel have worked out methods which result in the replacement windows being at least as neat and effectively installed as your windows were when they were new. This means that Intercon can furnish and install replacement windows which exceed today's tighter standards for efficiency. They look and perform just as well as the best windows in brand new homes. Call Intercon or visit our showroom and we will furnish you customer references for homes you can look at and homeowners you probably know who can tell you that Intercon can solve your window problems without wrecking your home or your budget, just as we did theirs. Intercon will furnish a free quote, and we won't pressure you to buy.
Whether you have new construction or an existing home, let the fine folks from Intercon help your home energy efficiency year-round. Call Brad Beard of Intercon today at 823-3639. That's 823-3639.
Howdy, gun-loving enthusiast. The Six Bullets Gun Show is back in Bryan this weekend at the Brazos County Expo. That's this Saturday and Sunday, July the 16th and 17th. All your favorite gun companies in one place. Got any guns to sell? Bring them to the show. Thousands of buyers will be there. Admission is only $10. Come check us out at sixbulletstx.com. The Six Bullets Gun Show is this weekend at the Brazos County Expo. At Six Bullets, we got your six.
Gun lovers, it's time for the 13th annual Grimes County Gun Show this weekend at the Grimes County Expo Center in Navasota. That's this Saturday and Sunday, July 16th and 17th. Buy, sell, or trade, guns, knives, ammunition, and much more. Admission is only $5. Peace officers and kids 12 and under get in free. It's the 13th annual Grimes County Gun Show this weekend at the Grimes County Expo Center in Navasota. For more information, visit the Friends of Grimes County Facebook page.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors. Lance Lester at the Lester Group, Zwerneman Flooring, The Sleep Station, and Twin Peaks. Here's a big gig-em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
I don't believe Josh Allen is the reason that the Buffalo Bills were in the position that they were in. But I'm just not that guy that all of a sudden look up and because Josh Allen had 2 good solid seasons back to back that he is just getting ready to be the next guy. Even though people pushing it that way, I need to see more. That's just me.
Listen in to Key, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor from 5 to 8 on the Zone.
All right, so Kay's making fun of me. You know she's comfortable here, OB, when she's like, I was at the gym yesterday, and she did do a deep Batman voice when she said it. And it was like, and I saw somebody writing down their workout. Loser. It's like, how rude is that,
Did not
Kay?
see that.
That was your tone.
She's like Batgirl.
Reminded
You know,
me
you are
of
both
Nuño.
working out all the time.
No, well, she's got actual gains. I'm working on those gains. All right, let's gain on this show. It's TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers next week at SEC Media Days. Thank you to Wings and More in College Station off of University Drive. Let's now go to the BCS. I was about to call it the A&B, but the BCSI hotline where Stephen McGee joins us. QB1 Paragon Financial's best. Good morning, Stephen.
Hey, good morning. I think the real question is, has she ever seen OB work out?
I have. Recently.
Yeah.
He came up to me, was it Tuesday, Wednesday?
A couple days ago.
The sweatiest man in the history of the world. That guy works on the treadmill and everything else very hard. I'll give you that. You were quite sweaty.
Yes, I sweat a lot. And see, Steve McGee and I used to work out at the same place, and he would give me a hard time for how, oh man, you're just trying to work out so hard and you're all sweaty, and I know he wants to say, and you're still disgusting looking.
Well, certain things you can't change, OB.
That's true. It's
just
true.
Kidding.
No, it's not.
What's going on, Stephen?
You know, just another day in paradise, 108 degrees, and my 8 and almost 8.5 month pregnant wife is probably as miserable as it gets. But the day is nearing for us, and so I'm enjoying our last days of freedom before life gets flipped upside down, so to speak.
It does, but life begins, in my opinion, with children. That's where you start living for somebody as opposed to living for yourself. So I'm really excited for you.
I had someone who was, I'm just to throw this out real quick, Stephen, because I don't want to take away too much of your time, but I was covering Texas women's basketball at the time when my son was born, and I had a player on the Texas women's basketball team tell me, you've become a lot nicer person since you become a father. I remember thinking, well, what kind of,
Shirk was I before?
Yeah, D-bag was I before. But and look at what a nice guy Stephen McGee is. So he's going to be Sam Kamen-like when he has a kid.
No one's as nice as Sam, that's for sure.
No, that's darn true. All right, hey, Stephen, Media Days, Big 12 going on right now, SEC next week. Are there any storylines beyond the obvious that you're chasing or you'd like to hear from?
You know, I'd love to get a feel for just what some of these players and what the coaches are going to say about this quarterback competition. I think it's the $1 million question surrounding A&M football going into the fall is who's going to be QB1 for this football team. You got 3 really, really good candidates. I think that we could probably all agree that you feel like it's not going to be the young gun just because the other 2 guys are going to transfer if it is. But it's the most important question for any football team going in the fall is who's going to be your guy behind center. And so, you got some good candidates there. And then I think, just getting a feel for, all the changes, the new identities, who are the leaders of this football team. Those are the type of things I think you learn from media days. But, the holes that we've talked about as well, like tight end position, who's going to fill that spot. And, obviously on the D-line, you're going to have some new faces, but you have so much talent, right? And then offensive line, you got some holes. Who's going to step up? And then how much can these young receivers have an impact in this offense? There's some definitely interesting storylines going into 2022 season.
Stephen, my question for you is, as a quarterback, how long does it take you to learn an offense?
Hey, that's a great question, OB.
Those are the kind of
I think it's a twofold equation, right? I mean, you could say, how long does it take you to learn it on a whiteboard in the quarterback room? I think it's a little bit quicker, depending on your different people progress differently there. Certainly, not everyone's got the same cognitive abilities, so to speak. But I think where it really comes to fruition and light is on the field. When can you slow down the football game and process all that information at a speed that allows you to compete and play at a high level? For me, it took a little bit more time. I really felt like it was probably going into year 3. So after my redshirt freshman year, or toward the end of my redshirt freshman year. So at least a good 2.5 years, right? Before I felt like I had a great grasp on what they were asking me to do, trying to adjust the difference in speed, et cetera. Now, for some guys, that's not necessarily true. They can do that and play at a high level year 1. I think some of that too, OB, is dependent upon the offense you're asked to play in, right? I mean, some of these are plug and play offenses, not a lot of audibles or checks at the line of scrimmage, not asking you to read defenses a whole lot or adjust protections. And so it's a little bit easier to come in and play early.
Well, that takes me to my kind of the point I'm getting at. So doesn't Haynes King have to be the starting quarterback this year? Because we always hear that Jimbo Fisher's offense is so difficult to master.
Yep.
And obviously the young freshman, Connor Wigman, he's only been trying to learn it for 6 months?
Right.
And Max Johnson's only trying to learn it for 6 months. And I have to believe that his offense that he was in last year wasn't that sophisticated, even though he won against A&M.
Yep.
But that's Ed Orgeron and company. So tell me why I'm wrong with that assumption.
I think that Connor, it's probably true because it's his first snaps. He's probably drinking from a water hose. But I think that he is uber talented. And I think this time next year, it's going to be a completely different conversation for Connor. I think he's definitely looked upon as probably the heir apparent and future of this program. One of the most talented kids we've ever signed. I think most people would agree with that, but probably not ready yet. I would argue, though, with Max Johnson, because he's had college football snaps, he's been exposed to higher level concepts, and he knows the speed of the SEC West. He's the most experienced quarterback in that room right now. He's going to have way more starts than the other guys. That helps, right?
But he doesn't have that experience in Jimbo's offense.
That's true, but how old is Max? 20 years old? 21 years old?
21.
He spent 21 years old around a guy that he calls dad that played 19 years in the NFL. He's been exposed to way more in-depth concepts than even what Jimbo is able to install in his offense. And so from every indication I've heard, this guy came in day one and was able to master Jimbo's offense. He is way beyond what they thought any one person could be at this point of the game. So I feel like he's going to be able to master this offense. I really, really do. And I'm trusting expert opinions here. And so I'm not in the room with him. I don't have the ability to talk to him and know what they're asking him to do. But what I do trust that and it makes sense, right? That Brad Johnson has been exposed to all these offenses and he gets it. And I think that his kids are going to get it too.
That's interesting you say this because I'm Obio and I were talking. Somehow Quinn Ewers was on a big publication. I forget which one it was as the number 10 quarterback this year. He might end up being number 10 on the list. But how can people make an assessment of a quarterback that has never taken a snap in college football?
I saw the same thing, right? When you sent me the text this morning, I was like, man, I was tempted to go look, see who these guys are on this list. I don't recognize a lot of names. And I think there's a lot of opportunity for quarterbacks this year trying to separate from the pack because you have a lot of new faces and new names. And some of the repeat names or the guys that have won and have experience on the list aren't necessarily great talents, like Stetson Bennett, so to speak. One at the highest level, I get it, but it was more of a factor of everybody around him was a 5-star except for him. Quinn Ewers is the opposite. He's not done anything. He has a ton of talent, but my ultimate question is this guy a head case? Everything I've heard about him and his family is that they are a hot mess, so to speak. And so being the quarterback of Texas, is very different. It's like being a quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. The limelight is on you. How is he going to handle that? And ultimately, can he win the job? That's question number one. Number two is, can he hold on to it? And then question number three is, he has all the talent, but does that necessarily mean he's going to be a great football player? It reminds me a lot of Spencer Rattler, a guy that has unbelievable arm talent. Like, no one is mistaking that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be a great quarterback. You've got to do it when the lights are on. You have anticipation, you have charisma, pocket feel. That's why guys like Major Applewhite were able to succeed, or even a guy like Drew Brees, right? Doesn't have great arm talent, but one of the best all time. Accuracy, anticipation, understanding the offense, all those little feel things that are hard to get in a game of 7-on-7.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to hit a break, but you can say what you need to say.
I'm just going to say, I listened to McGee, and I'm thinking, surely at some point someone approached McGee to be ask if he'd be interested in being a quarterback coach. And I just wonder who he would compare to. I think he's somewhere between Mike Leach and General Patton,
in the middle of that.
By the way, I know his personality, but I wonder how he would say he would be as a quarterback coach.
OB, I love you, man. The General Patton, I love it. I would be terrible as a quarterback coach. I respect what these guys do. People always ask me, "Are you going to coach?" Man, the sacrifices that they make to their families, and especially going into this season for me, I think it's going to be especially true. It's just incredible how much time away they have to spend from their families. Recruiting, it is a year-round job, and the stress levels of being a college football coach, especially nowadays with bigger contracts, more pressure, a hard life.
All right, Steve, when we come back, that's bullcrap. We'll get to that and some more thoughts here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. You're invited to the Backing Bill benefit at Big Shots Golf. Aggie, former cadet, and community activist Bill Lartigue is recovering from a stroke. Back Bill and his family by coming out to Big Shots on Monday, July 25th from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. Shop for Casa Kids, which runs through July, provides back-to-school clothes for kids in foster care in all 7 Brazos Valley counties. Find more information and drop-off locations at vfcbrazos.org. The Keep Brazos Beautiful Annual Awards Luncheon is Thursday, August 11th at the Hilton in College Station. To purchase tickets or for sponsorship info, email Allison at keepbrazosbeautiful.org. For more information about becoming a Master Gardener, visit brazosmg.com. Sign up now for the Zone All Access email newsletter. Find out the guest lineups, the giveaways, and take advantage of exclusive contesting and deals. Sign up now at zone1150.com. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Suddenlink is becoming optimum, and bit by bit, employee by employee, we're making big changes to reconnect with you.
Take me. I'm working hard to bring Optimum Fiber, a new 100% fiber internet network, into your home for more speed and reliability.
And me, I can help customers combine that with Optimum Mobile, now on the T-Mobile network, so they can stay seamlessly connected at home and on the go.
I love telling my customers that they can have the flexibility to choose the products that work for them, with no forced bundles or annual contracts.
When I help solve issues, I strive to keep your satisfaction my top priority. In fact, we're always here for you with support in-store or online and over the phone 24/7.
But beyond helping you, we're also helping our communities.
By donating millions to public schools and local organizations.
To empower the next generation of innovators.
And now that Suddenlink is becoming Optimum, all that progress adds up to something much bigger, reconnecting with you and what you love.
So let's reconnect. See all the progress we're making at suddenlink.com/reconnect.
Howdy, this is Steve Bledsoe, fighting TexAgs class of '83, with some exciting news. Veribank is now open with our new full-service location on Highway 6 in College Station. With personal bankers, business bankers, Veribank has everything you need in one convenient location. Come see for yourself where genuine banking is waiting for you, and you can bank on it.
Visit Verabank.com today. That's VERA Bank.com. Verabank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hello, popular sports talk host Chip Howard here, reminding you I'm not around much in the summertime. So while I'm out enjoying the good life, please show some respect for the fill-ins. I realize it's not quite the same, but most of them are trying. Look, I'll be back when the weather cools down and the sports heat up. In the meantime, keep it right here on the station that plays all your hits, The Zone, 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
If it hadn't been for Cotton Eye Joe, I'd been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? If it hadn't been for Cotton Eye Joe, I'd been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you
This is an OB banger.
Bull crap. Bull crap.
You asked for it, you get it. TexAgs Radio, Cotton Eye Joe segment. That is typical OB. It's time for That's Bullcrap, presented by Tom Line Plumbing. For service you can trust, consider Tom Line Plumbing. Great friend of Stephen McGee, longtime trusted plumber in and around Brazos Valley. Website, tomlineplumbing.com. Stephen, that was perfect by OB, right? He picked that song for that reason.
It's perfect. It's genius. I love it. Bullcrap this week is, it's not really anything bullcrap, but I think it's the insistence of the press and the PGA Tour and some of the players that are pro PGA Tour to continue to talk about live golf. I mean, the worst thing that they can do if they really are against live golf is to continue to press and pump about it, talk about how much they don't like it. Look, I think it's BS. The PGA Tour has not done things to backstop and shore up the PGA Tour in the format, right? I mean, here's a great point that Greg Norman brought up is that think about any other professional sport. If you're on an NFL roster and you're number 52, you're making $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 a year minimum. Like that's what your wage is, just to get on the bus, not necessarily to be on the field. Well, if you don't make the cut, but you're on the tour, like you have your card, there's a lot of guys that are going to lose $75,000, $80,000. They're literally in debt on the PGA Tour. And that just doesn't make sense to me. Like if you get your card, you should have a minimum salary. And there's enough dollars in order for the PGA Tour to do that. And so to me, little things like this could go a long way to making the tour more sustainable, but it's bullcrap to me.
OB?
You know what I find bullcrap? I know Steven's going to be on board with this. It's political, but it has sports in it, is that I would not I think it's bullcrap that an athlete who would not stand for a national anthem while competing for the United States of America and often has spoken out about what a terrible country it is then rewarded the Medal of Freedom, an honor to be honored by the president as a American that hates America.
Which athlete are we talking about here?
I don't even like to say her name, but she's that soccer player with like 5 different color hair and yeah. I will never eat at that sandwich place that she endorses because
of her.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just gonna make this easy. It's bullcrap that it's been the hottest summer ever in the world. Like, what is happening? Well, it was 111 the other day, and that doesn't happen. It happens in Arizona, not here.
It's been hot.
It's been real hot.
1980 was the hottest I ever experienced summer. This might be its equal.
Hey, Stephen, I don't think we can get this in quickly enough, but James was asking what kind of offensive modifications would you make to see based on the quarterback who wins the job. How about you hold that thought for next week, a week from now, and we'll revisit that.
Offensive modifications.
Y'all have a great weekend, guys.
You too, man. Thanks, Stephen. Stephen McGee.
From Coach McGee.
Here on the BCSI hotline. I think he'd be a great coach, to be honest with you. OB, I've asked you to stick around for a few minutes because we're going to play a game of Would You Rather.
Okay.
Those games get fun, all right? But
Would you rather?
These will be a lot of sports questions, okay?
Yeah, not like the ones that Broniger would have us play when we were driving back from Omaha.
Oh, you guys play that game?
Oh, yeah.
Would you rather? Never mind. You know what. Do whatever you do. Do not tweet us what you would rather do or ask us. Whatever. Don't email us. Don't tweet us. Would you rather blank or blank? Goodbye.
Olivia from Washington. Laid off and trying to keep our little kids from realizing that mommy and daddy haven't eaten in a while.
Roger from California. I'm grateful we could afford our son's surgery. I'm nervous that now we can't really afford food.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Donna from Louisiana. The storm just hit, and we went from donating to the food bank to needing it.
Keisha from South Carolina. I've been skipping meals so my 2 kids can eat, but filling up on water doesn't really work.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Download podcast of your favorite shows, Louie, Chip, or TexAgs in the Pod Center at zone1150.com. Subscribe and have them downloaded daily for you in the Pod Center at zone1150.com. This is KZNE College Station Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. On Monday and Wednesday, voluntary electric conservation requests were made by the operator of most of the state's power grid. The reason was reduced generation from alternative sources. That continues to be monitored during the heat wave by BTU General Manager Gary Miller.
Solar's good all the time as long as the sun is shining, regardless of whether there's cloud cover. If the wind's not blowing, we're not going to get anything.
ERCOT reported during yesterday's peak demand, wind power was generating at only 12% of capacity and solar power was generating at 68% of capacity. 2 water districts serving portions of Bryan and College Station have implemented stricter conservation measures. The Wixon Creek District is asking its customers to stop all outdoor watering through Saturday. That's followed by watering on 2 designated days per week between 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. The Wellborn District is ordering customers to limit outdoor watering to 2 designated days per week between 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. The latest call from a local bank to police regarding criminal activity involves a 67-year-old Houston man using a fake driver's license and a fake debit card to attempt to withdraw $2,000 from another man's savings account. According to the College Station Police arrest report, the victim did not know how someone would obtain his information. The man who was arrested told officers that someone else gave him the fake license and debit card. Carl Richard Brown remains in jail in lieu of bonds totaling $18,000. The public portion of College Station City Council meetings has historically started around 6 p.m., even though they could start as early as 5. Tonight is the first meeting where public business officially begins no earlier than 6 p.m. Elizabeth Cuna's request was unanimously approved June 9th.
We so rarely start them at 5, and I wondered if maybe we should put no earlier than 6 as a consideration for people who are attending the meeting and who are wanting to speak.
The delay is the time the council takes an executive session. For more news, go online to WTAW.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Progressive presents Forced Metaphors about bundling your home and auto.
When you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, you get great savings and round-the-clock protection, which is as beautiful as looking your firstborn child in the eyes for the first time. Well, that's a bit much. Maybe it's more like looking your second-born child in the eyes for like the third or fourth time. Point being, the savings and round-the-clock protection are really, really magical.
Forced Metaphors, presented by Progressive. Bundle and protect today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Swing free all summer long at Big Shots Golf. Get your Hot Shot Summer Pass and enjoy perks you won't want to miss. With the Hot Shot Summer Pass at Big Shots Golf, you'll get 2 hours of tee box time for up to 6 people per day. Plus, kids 12 and under eat free on Mondays, and you get special summer perks valued up to $200. Get the Big Shots Golf Hot Shot Summer Pass today while supplies last. Buy yours today at BigShotsGolf.com or swing by.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on the Zone. The Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click HilcoSupply.com. Humble, Texas Mayor Norman Thunderberg declared yesterday as Kenyon Green Day for the Houston area city. Green, a former standout at Atascocita High School, was a 3-year starter on the offensive line for A&M, being named an AP First-Team All-American last year. He also became the 36th Aggie to be taken in the first round of the NFL Draft, getting selected 15th overall by the Houston Texans. Well, the Texas A&M takeover on the SEC Network kicked off last night. Beginning at 11 p.m., the channel started airing 24 straight hours of Aggie content, including several big sports moments from over the past year. Still on tap is baseball's super regional victory over Louisville. That rebroadcast is set for today at 3 p.m. Meanwhile, football's last-second victory over Alabama will be played at 6 o'clock. And the Brazos Valley Bombers scored 8 runs in the first 3 innings en route to a 14-4 walloping over the Seguin River Monsters last night. Jackson Cobb, Braden Evans, and Ben Harmon all had tremendous performances at the plate, combining for 8 hits and 6 Bombers runs. Aggie Brandon Bishop also got into the offense, going 2 for 3 with 3 walks. With the victory, the Blue and Gold improved to 22-10 on the summer. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
Looking for podcasts of TexAgs Radio, The Louie Bellina Show, or Chip Howard? Look inside the Pod Center at zone1150.com. Don't miss a single rant, guest, or moment. You can download or subscribe to any and all of your favorite shows inside the Pod Center at zone1150.com. There's also a special selection where you can find select interviews from David, Louie, and Chip. Look up Zone interviews inside the Pod Center at zone1150.com. Download or subscribe, but don't miss out. Check out the Pod Center at zone1150.com.
Would you like to swing on a star, carry moonbeams home in a jar, and be better off than
Would you rather? It is TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. And next week we'll be at SEC Media Days, that roadshow brought to you by Wings and More. And on Thursdays, you got to go to your favorite place, Wings and More, because they have your favorite wings and so much more. But every Thursday is Big Willie Thursday. All 32-ounce domestic drafts and house margaritas are at $4.50 from 2 p.m. to close. Wings and More on University Drive. OB sticking around for one more segment because we're going to play a game of Would You Rather. And if you'd like to participate in the Would You Rather, you can text us on the A&B text line. We'll have some random ones for you, 979-693-1150, or you can call us up on the BCSI hotline. OB, you ready?
Yeah.
We go to the News and Social Center. Kay Nagley, would you rather us? Let's go.
Let's kick it off. Okay. In 5 years, would you rather be in the SEC or the Big 12?
Big 10.
Oh, Big 10.
SEC.
And why?
A better conference, more passion throughout the conference. I mean, you go to Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan. Well, maybe not Michigan, but some of those games. The passion is great, but try covering a game at Purdue or Illinois or Indiana or Rutgers or Maryland, unless they're playing Texas. It's just not the same. I would much rather be in the SEC. Plus, I want to hang out with people from my own geographic area.
So I'm going to go since 2000 real quick, okay? And I'm going to tell you how many times the Big Ten has won a national champion. Or I'm just going to tell you how it goes. Oklahoma in 2000, Miami in 2001, Ohio State, they finally get one in 2002.
And then in 2016 or something, 15?
2003, LSU and USC, according to this. 2004,
Texas.
USC. 2005, Texas. Mm-hmm. Then it's Florida, LSU, Florida, Alabama, Auburn, Alabama, Florida State, Ohio State. Oh, there's one. Alabama, Clemson, Alabama, Clemson, LSU, Alabama, Georgia. Of course you want to be in the SEC. Look, the question is timely because the Big Ten is looking like they're going in the right direction, right? And adding USC and UCLA, great. When was the last time USC was really good?
Really good? I think they had
1 or 2 years.
Probably not really good since 2006.
Okay, so it's been almost 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, really good.
Yeah, 16 years.
I mean, didn't they beat Penn State in a Rose Bowl not too long ago?
Yeah. Okay, so
but you're talking about national championship caliber good.
UCLA.
Never.
Okay. So they add these two. The perception is the Big Ten is on the rise. They're the closest ones to the SEC. And while all that may be true, the SEC is still the SEC.
That I would rather be in the playing the SEC. Unless you could make the argument, well, I'd rather be in the Big Ten because then the road is easier.
Sure. But I'm talking like if you can choose your conference and all the royalties that come with it, it is the SEC. And everyone but maybe Notre Dame, and Notre Dame, they don't want to be anywhere, would pick the SEC.
I would think so.
Let's go back to Kay. Kay, what's next?
All right. Would you rather be in the Big 12 or the Pac-12?
Probably Big 12.
Isn't that amazing about a year ago or even before that, how things have changed?
Yeah, I mean, that's like, would you rather get, poked in your right eye or poked in your left eye, but
left eye for sure.
Yeah, left eye. I would think I would rather as a program be in the Big 12 because people at Oklahoma State really they follow that program. People at Texas Tech are, follow that program. You just don't have a lot of fan support. I guess Oregon, Washington, but only when they're good.
Yeah.
The fan support isn't the same.
I think this question, had you asked it 2 years ago, wouldn't it even been close? Even though the Pac-12 wasn't doing anything, I still think the perception was the Big 12 was going down, the Pac-12 was maintaining. And now it's kind of reversed to where the Big 12 is either maintaining, potentially adding, and the Pac-12 may go away, or they could combine and become the
Well, you know what's going to be really interesting to me is they try to combine. I did a story on this back in another job. You ever wondered why BYU never got invited to the Pac-12? They took Utah, but they didn't want BYU. Cal Berkeley and Stanford were always absolutely adamant. No church-related schools.
Right.
Well, now are they willing to soften that stance? Because, quite frankly, I'd rather have BYU than either one of those programs in my conference if I'm trying to be strong as possible.
You're right. You're absolutely right. Okay.
All right. Would you rather go to the first day of media days or the last day?
And the reason I bring this up is Jimbo is the last day. I believe Brian Kelly and Saban are the first day. Does it matter, like, from a media perspective, from a fan perspective, from a coach's perspective?
Well, for me personally, I'd rather go the last day.
Because it's just one day and you're out?
Yes, and it's Texas.
No, I'm not saying this year, just in general.
In general?
Like, would you rather Jimbo go the first day or the last day?
It depends on when A&M went. If a couple of years ago, A&M went first in the first day.
I like that.
And I thought we might go for that first day and come back, but we did not.
We stayed the whole time.
Yes, we did.
I like first day because I think by the time the last day comes, people are kind of tired and ready to leave and kind of tuned out. That first day, there's a lot of energy, a lot of excitement. I like the first day. But you know what? Having a headliner on the last day like Jimbo keeps people there a little bit longer because they're not leaving until Jimbo goes.
I think there's a lot of truth to that.
All right, let's go to the next one.
Would you rather have the summer we're having or a sub 20 degrees winter?
Summer.
Yeah,
not even
close.
No.
This weather, as much as I dislike it, very easily jump in the pool. I'm fine. Go inside in air conditioning. I'm fine.
Yeah, I don't have a pool.
A pool.
Didn't have AC for a while too.
Yeah,
Not having AC in this time, for sure.
Really. But you know what? A couple of years ago, I didn't have heat because we had those rolling blackouts and everything. And that was pretty heinous.
You got to put on a lot of blankets, buddy. A lot of jackets. Yeah, I'm going with the heat all day. Okay.
Would you rather be Charles Barkley, no rings but one of the best, or Robert Horry, 7 championship rings?
In that comparison, I'd rather be Charles Barkley.
All day.
Because Robert Horry made some big shots. I know you
Big
know
shot
that.
Bob, yeah.
But did they win those championships because of Robert Horry?
No. Let's see. They won those championships because generational players like Hakeem Olajuwon,
Right.
Tim Duncan, Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant.
And they made it possible for him to make some big shots.
Absolutely.
Charles Barkley, I don't look at him and say, oh, he was a failure in his career because he didn't win Dan Marino would then be a failure.
Right.
You can go a lot of I have to think about some of the baseball players that never won. Were they failures? No, of course not. The money or the ring?
Well,
give me the money.
So I'll say a couple of things on this. I know Robert Horry had an amazing career.
Nice guy.
If you talk about one of the greatest role players ever, and
Played
any
his
sport,
role sensationally.
right? Fantastic. Charles Barkley at 6'4", they say 6'6", closer to 6'4", dominating the way he did in multiple ways, attacking the rim, rebounding. We'll get his first game with the Rockets. I believe his stat was 31 points, 33 rebounds against his former team, the Phoenix Suns, when they thought he was washed up. I know he didn't win with the Rockets, but he's my favorite athlete of all time because of his opinions, the way he played the game, the way he attacked the rim, how great he is on television. And if you take away TNT and what he means in today's world, he is still one of the greatest athletes I have ever seen.
Do you want to
and overweight, but I don't care. He was great.
Do you want to be the driver or do you want to be a rider? Right,
the driver.
I'd much rather drive.
By the way, they were traded for each other, which
Were they?
upset a lot of people. The Rockets trade, which back in 1997, I was all about this trade because Barkley was my favorite player growing up. They traded Ori, Sam Cassell, Mark Bryant. I forget who else. It was a lot for Charles, and there might have been one other Phoenix Suns player that came over. I'd do that trade all day, all freaking day.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next one.
All right, would you rather go 10-2 but lose the last 2 SEC games to Auburn and LSU, or go 9-3 and have a 7-game win streak?
10-2. I'm going to celebrate 10 wins. I'm going to be pissed that
you ended the season that way, yeah.
Especially, would you lose to Auburn in that scenario?
The last 2 SEC games, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Auburn, LSU.
I mean, I would be, how did that happen?
If you lose to UMass
and you lost to Calzada.
Oh yeah.
But do you want if someone comes to you and say, we want to give you $10,000 or $9,000, which do you want?
I think I know because I wrote the question in this way, was the thinking behind it is ending the season on such a sour note, and yeah, you get your 10 wins, but you lose 2 games at the end, you're out of contention because you're going into it 10-0. You think you're going to the college football playoffs. You've beat Alabama. You've done everything possible to get there. Or you lose early games to teams you shouldn't lose to, Miami, Mississippi State, Arkansas. But then you find yourself like you did last year, but you finished the job at 9-3.
10-2. It's like the whole thing. If you were the Buffalo Bills
Mm-hmm.
and you always lose the Super Bowl, does that mean you'd rather just not get to the Super Bowl because you might be disappointed? No, I want to win as much as I can, and if I've got 10 wins, I'm going to feel better about that than if I had 9, even though if you said you're in the playoff hunt and then you get out of it. Well, if you got 9 wins, maybe you were already out of the playoff hunt.
You are out of the playoff hunt the 3rd game of the season. Yeah. So let's go to the last one.
What say you, 10 or 9?
10.
In that scenario.
Yeah, in that scenario, I still think it's 10, although I think the offseason would hurt more, right? God, it was right there.
Or it would make you angry.
More angry, right? Like you've got 10 wins, yay, but you were a failure when it counted at the end, and that is something to hold on to. Or, look, if we didn't start poorly, we're in the college football playoffs yet because we found ourselves at the end and we found our quarterback and we're going.
Would you do, David, 10 reps or 9?
Depends what I'm doing. If we're doing a percentage of your max,
sorry, move on. Sorry, I asked.
The real question is, would you do 10 or 8? Sorry, go ahead, Kay.
Would you rather have Jerry Jones or Mark Cuban as your team owner?
Aren't they the same guy, kind of?
They're a little different. They meddle. They're meddlers, but they're different.
I mean,
who's been more successful over the last 20 years?
Over the last 20, well, you would say Cuban.
Yeah.
But he only has to get, 5 players, 6 players, 7 players.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this about Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones gets a lot of flack, and he deserves a lot of it. But as the owner of my team, they're both my team now, but Jerry Jones, I've never had any doubt that he wants to win. He's in it to win. I'll give him that much. I'm not saying that he doesn't step on the rake and get hit in the forehead.
Sure.
But at least he's out there trying to win, unlike a lot of owners in a lot of sports that's just trying to make money.
So I'm going to make this real easy. I'm picking Mark Cuban.
Okay.
But I have my reasons for it, okay? My reason for it is
he hired you?
He hired me. He gave me my start. I don't want to say I know the guy, but I know-ish the guy, right? But they're both I'm like you when it comes to Jerry. Not a Cowboys guy. I love Jerry Jones. It's kind of like Dana White with the UFC. Some people hate him, some people love. I love Dana White. I love Jerry Jones. Now, he's not my GM. He's not my owner, so maybe it's easier to like him because some of the moves in the past and, keeping on the coaches for too long or maybe firing them too quick or upsetting a Hall of Fame coach and Jimmy and whatnot. But for me, it is Mark because how he's evolved with times and how he has continued to put his team on top. But they're both either one is great. Like, would you rather keep your left arm or your right arm? Or what was your left eye? They're both good situations, just differently.
I will take an owner that wants to win.
Yep.
And then I'll suffer with some of his bad decisions. But as long as I know my owner wants to win, I can live with that.
All right, let's go back to Kay. She's got a couple more for us.
I do. Specifically for OB, Mick Jagger or Justin Timberlake? This is from Randy and Hearn.
That's because I move like Jagger.
Got the moves?
I don't know.
Inside joke again, guys.
No, people know that song. Oh, but the Mick Jagger thing, yeah. Mick Jagger, and I think Nuño has finally been coming around to that after seeing that one Justin Timberlake video.
I think I'd rather be Justin Timberlake, though, right now. I mean, Justin's going to be around for 60 more years.
Yeah, well, if you're saying I'd rather be a guy based on
age,
the living potential, yes, I would rather live longer.
I'm just going to throw this. Who would you rather be, Derek Jeter or Justin Timberlake?
Are they the same age?
Roughly. Just for this conversation.
I'd probably rather be Derek Jeter.
I think I'd rather be Derek Jeter, too.
Yeah.
What else do you have for us, Kay?
David Edmond says, would you rather Saban retire or coach for another 7 years?
Retire.
Coach, I don't care. My coach isn't afraid of Nick Saban. So I like that. Just beat his ass again.
I like that. You know what?
Don't be a team that's afraid of somebody.
Beat his ass twice. In the playoffs and in the regular season. Let's go. Go do it.
Just start beating him consistently.
I like it. I'm a big fan of that. Okay, I know we got another one from David Edmond.
We do. This was from earlier. He said, quick health question.
Oh, no. Health question.
Obviously, this one's for you.
No, I want you to participate.
Yeah. How healthy are eggs? What is your egg take? How do you take them? Interested to see how listeners like their eggs. I'm on the salsa kick right now from David Edmond.
All right. OB, I know you have eggs every morning. Are you a big eggs guy? Not every morning, but often.
I eat a lot of eggs.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the question is, how do I eat my eggs and what do I think about them?
No, how healthy are they?
I think they're very healthy. I think they are. There was look, I'm not a doctor scientist, so please Google this or talk to your doctor. But I believe some of the cholesterol things that came out about eggs back in the day are a little overfabricated or overanalyzed, whatever. I have egg whites every single morning with 2 eggs. I have 250 ounces of egg whites and 2 eggs every morning. Great source of protein, and the beauty of having eggs in the morning like that is if you feel very, what's the word I'm looking for? Satiated, is that the word? Satiated? Not satiated. They make you feel full.
So I think the word you were looking for was hungry.
Well, it makes you not hungry.
Not hungry.
For a longer time.
All right. Satisfied.
Yeah. Very satisfied.
I eat my eggs with the yolk. So there.
How many eggs do you have?
Typically, my lunch is 4 eggs with just a little bit, not a lot, a little bit of cheese sprinkled in for flavor and texture. And if I have it, I'll throw in a handful of diced ham if I have it.
I have regular eggs too, but I want more protein and less fat. So I do 2 real eggs and a lot of egg whites. And that way you get 50 grams of protein and you still get the fat that you need, just not overdo it.
I'm guilty of the egg white thing as well.
You know what? I'll take my yolk because I'm not going to sit there unless my wife's wanting me to bake a cake or something and she needs just I'm not going to sit there and separate them.
Well, I just buy them separated for me. By the way, do you hear that? Listen.
Yeah, nobody.
That's the that's the entire Brazos Valley changing the station as we speak. I can hear the dial changing right now. If we put you to sleep and you crash, where would you go? Caprock. All right, that's where you go during an emergency situation. 100% locally owned and operated health system in the Brazos Valley. They put the patient first in every decision that they make, and that is so important. We got somebody here on staff that had to go recently, and they had to go somewhere, and that's the place you need to go, because if you go to the wrong place, I'm telling you, you're going to be waiting for a long time. Look, they're going to take care of you eventually, but do you want to get taken care of right away? Do you want to have first-class service? You go to Caprock Health System. They have cash prices that rival any of the competitors in the Brazos Valley, and we encourage you to see it for yourself. 2 convenient, state-of-the-art facilities designed for patient healing and family friendliness. You got Caprock Hospital in Bryan and Caprock 24-hour emergency center in College Station. They both have 0 wait times for emergency care. You'll never have to sit in a crowded waiting room. The hospital and ER maintain a clean and sterile safe environment. Is Caprock Health.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. BCS Habitat for Humanity is hosting its annual Bowl to Build tournament on Friday, July 15th from 6 to 9 p.m. at Grand Station Entertainment. Space is limited, so go online to habitatbcs.org to learn more and sign your team up today. Wellborn Community Center is having a garage sale Saturday morning from 8 to noon. Local law enforcement agencies are participating in a rowing competition to raise funds to support the Sexual Assault Resource Center. Battle of the Badges is Saturday, July 16th at Row House College Station. The event is open to the public. Visit sarcbv.org. Find out more about current and upcoming events and exhibitions at the University Art Galleries in the MSC. Go online to uart.tamu.edu. Enter now at zone1150.com to win your Texas Summer Survival Kit thanks to Field of Family. Win tickets to Fiesta Texas, the Bombers, the Cinemark Theater, and gift cards to Superior Auto Service and Field of Family. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Optimum Mobile wants those good summertime vibes to last all year with big savings. Get 1 gigabyte of data for just $5 a month for the first 12 months. And because Optimum Mobile is on the network outperforming Verizon with the best 5G availability, you can keep those good summer feelings going. Because you'll stay connected at the beach, at the park, at the barbecue, and on the road. Really, anywhere you go this summer. With Optimum Mobile, you get 5G access included, plus unlimited talk and text at a great value. Maybe that's why Optimum Mobile was voted #1 in customer satisfaction by our customers. Get closer with mobile savings and go farther all year long with mobile service for $5 a month for 12 months. Learn more at Optimum.com/summer5 or visit your local Suddenlink store today. 1 gigabyte plan, $5 a month for first 12 months. $20 activation fee applies. Then auto renews at standard monthly rates. Offer subject to discontinuance or change at any time. While supplies last. 5G not available in all areas. Other terms and conditions apply.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Gotta be connected with The Zone. Follow us on Twitter or Instagram at The Zone 1150. Like us on Facebook at The Zone 1150. Programming alerts, prize updates, scores from games all across Bryan Broadcasting, contest news, and more. Connect with us and always be in the know. Can't remember what team is playing on what station? When are they giving away what? And when is the coach on the show? Follow us on Twitter or Instagram at Zone 1150. And be sure to like us on Facebook at Zone 1150. And always be in the know.
All right, welcome back, TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, which you can find on 911 University Drive East in College Station. Great place to go. Proud corporate sponsor of Aggie Athletics and of this show since day one. You need your Rolex done, that's where you go. You need to find something for your loved one, that's the place to go. Shop online at davidgardnersjewelers.com. We're here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Going to be meeting up with Jackson Rollo here soon in the next couple of days. Looking forward to teaming up with those guys. They're great. I loved Jason Jackson, the entire Keith over there, the great crew over there at Rollo Insurance. As a reminder, next week we are at SEC Media Days. I'll be taking the show on the road thanks to Wings and More. Appreciate them helping us out, getting us there. It'll be a fun trip. OB's going. You've got Richard going. You got Dalton going. You got Jamie going. I'm going. You got Billy going. Kennedy's going. It's going to be a huge crew. It'll be fun. All right, so it just came out a little while ago. Richard posted it up on the threads, but A&M's Shriner Classic matchups have been unveiled. They're going to be taking on Louisville on Friday, March 3rd. A&M versus Louisville. Hello, we know them. They'll be playing at 7 p.m. There at Minute Maid. And then you also have Saturday, March 4th, A&M versus Texas Tech. And then Sunday, March 5th, against Michigan at 3 p.m. Those are great matchups. Love those matchups. Really excited about that. That'll be fun. That is a ways away, but not that far away, guys. And you know, some of the guys that Schloss is adding to this roster, and you know, still some decisions are being made, but Those are some really interesting teams. Michigan obviously had that nice finish to their year in Big Ten play, and Louisville, we know how that all ended. Yay, Ags. And so, yeah, it'll be fun. Appreciate that. Texas Tech, another wonderful program.
Bobby Knight and Bill Belichick.
Hi, Bobby Knight. Hi, Bill
down.
Belichick.
The party don't stop. It's David Nuño on TexAgs Radio. Weekdays on the Zone.
Howdy, this is Brad Beard with Intercon. You would not buy a car, boat, or major appliance if the warranty only covered material, leaving you to pay labor, freight, and other charges. So don't make the same mistake when making a window or glass purchase. With many players in the window industry, limited warranties are truly limited. At Intercon, the warranties we provide cover 100% of the cost to get the product performing as it should. The labor and freight charges on other vendors' warranties can add up to hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Ask questions about other warranties offered. What costs are not covered? Are they transferable? What happens if a vendor goes out of business? Intercon does not represent any fly-by-night manufacturers who change their name and product line continually. We have long-standing relationships with our vendors and offer the best warranties in the business. Years down the road, Intercon will still be in the Brazos Valley, making sure the product we sold lives up to expectations. Call Intercon and get the best product at the best price with the best service.
When it comes to windows for your most valuable asset, trust your local friends and neighbors from Intercon. Call Brad Beard with Intercon at 823-3639. That's 823-3639 for Intercon today.
Since 1957, Slovakic Sausage in Snook has been making the best tasting sausage in Texas from the same family recipe. Slovakic is the official sausage of Texas A&M Athletics. Whether it's from the grill to the family gathering or from the pit to the neighborhood party, serve the sausage voted best in the Brazos Valley. Serve Slovakic. Be sure to come in and check out their full-service meat market, relax on the front porch, or grab some fresh kolaches from their bakery on your way out. Slovakic Sausage, Highway 60 in Snook.
Big deals. Looking for more ways to save money? Aren't we all? Jenny here. Shop your local Big Deals online store. You'll find gift certificates to all kinds of local businesses, places where you already shop, restaurants you already love, and great local entertainment. The best part? All of these gift certificates are on sale at discounted prices. Get them for yourself or buy them as a gift. Shop and save. You'll be glad you did.
AggielandBigDeals.com to save big. AggielandBigDeals.com.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors, Schulte Roofing, Prosperity Bank, Hargrove Insurance, and Rudy's Barbecue. Here's a big gig-em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
Enter now at zone1150.com and you can win a Texas Summer Survival Kit presented by Field of Family and the Smokin' Aces Barbecue Team. Impress the guests at your next backyard barbecue when you serve locally owned, locally grown premium beef from Field of Family. Order online today at shopfieldofamily.com. Enter now. You can enter once a week, once a day, Thursday through Saturday. Enter every week to play. Enter now at zone1150.com.
So today's going to be the day that the internet cuts out again. Goodness gracious. Had to go to break early. Nick Savage thinking there's a power outage. Just destroying the vibe on the show. Not you, Nick. The internet. By the way, Oasis can play on the show anytime, Nick, so good job there. It is TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. We are going to be at SEC Media Days next week, and I'm sure I'm going to run into this joker, as Chris Gordy, joining us here on the BCSI hotline there. You can find his work at 790 in Houston, Sports Talk 790, and, of course, on Locked On SEC. We call this segment Around College Football, brought to you by Milliken Reserve, a College Station community featuring homes, trails, farms, and wide open spaces with a mission to build a healthy community around nature. Take part in the Milliken Reserve community with a Conservancy membership. Learn more at millikenreserve.com. Gordy, you've already got your SEC superhero shirt on. Good morning to you, man.
I'm actually, my plan is I'm going to beg the commissioner next week, Greg Sankey. I'm going to tell him, hey, look, I don't have an SEC branded polo and I'd like one. So if you could just send me one, that would be great.
So I'm waiting for like the guest list to come out. Usually ESPN sends it out, like who you can get. And you haven't gotten it yet, have you? Because I'm waiting to book my guys.
Yeah, not the SEC ESPN talent folks yet. I was surprised it took forever. What was it, Tuesday this week? We finally got the list of the attendees from all the teams. I'm like, we're literally less than a week out. I'd like to do some research on all the players and the different guys that are going to be there. And so, finally we got that this Tuesday. I was excited though. There's a lot of star power. I mean, we got a lot of big quarterbacks in the SEC coming. I think A&M picked 3 perfect guys. Damani's awesome. Nice, awesome. And then Layden Robinson's going to be a really, really good O lineman. So I think A&M hit the bullet on the head. No offense to past punters, but nobody likes the special teamers. We like to see the stars. And so I think A&M's got 3 studs coming with Jimbo.
I was pretty close to nailing it the other day when we talked. You and I text, who do you think A&M's going to bring? And my toss-up was either Damani or Antonio, and I totally understand why they go Damani. He's the most veteran player in the backfield.
Yeah, no, and it makes a lot of sense, and he's really good. I mean, I don't know if anybody's going to be as good as Leon O'Neal, though. I mean, that guy was, he chatted with me during the Senior Bowl week, and I mean, that kid just, I couldn't believe how he was falling down people's draft boards as much as he did, because, man, just personality plus, I'd be like, let's take this kid in the 4th or 5th round and see what happens. So it's a weird thing to talk about. I don't know how many people care about it in the media, but like, having guys with personality and are willing to talk about their team and excited for their team, I think adds to the excitement of SEC Media Days and everything that comes with it.
Yeah, we got Chris Gordy on the BCSI hotline. Chris, I got a generic question that I put out on Twitter. I'm going to ask you because I still think the answer is a no-brainer, but it depends what part of the country you ask this question. In 5 years, would you rather be the SEC or the Big Ten?
I mean, it's the SEC. It's funny. There was a story put out there this week that, the SEC adding Texas and Oklahoma, that they may stay put at 16. And I think that's really an interesting thought, because it seems almost like that it's been this media narrative pushing towards 20 teams, power conferences, 2 big 20-team super conferences and all this. And my argument is, if I'm Greg Sankey, I look at the Big Ten, I go, oh, that's cute. You added 2 teams in the LA market. That's great. Yeah. When's the last time you went to a sports bar in LA and they were like, can you guys put the UCLA game on? Like, no one there gives a damn right now. Like, it's great to add those markets, but like, nobody watches those games. USC has been completely irrelevant since Pete Carroll left town. So, I mean, look, it's good for them. My perspective is, let the Big Ten do what they're going to do. If they want to keep adding teams and get to 18 and get to 20, so be it. The SEC still, if they stay put at 16, adding the brands of Texas and Oklahoma, are still the most dominant power conference. I don't care who the Big Ten adds.
Would you? Okay, let me just ask you this. This is a question I asked earlier in the week that will never happen. Maybe I want it to happen, but it will never happen. What if Texas and OU said, you know what? We've reconsidered. We're going to go to the Big Ten. Would you still think the same thing?
Yeah, it would certainly be a hit. Yeah, I mean, that would hurt. I don't think that would happen at this point. The only thing I keep telling people, I have a friend who's a big A&M fan, and he brings up all the time, I get sick of these, these little non-conference games we play. Again, no disrespect to Sam Houston State or Appalachian State or UMass or whoever, is on the non-conference schedule. But he's like, man, if we could, make a big super power conference and we could play like Clemson and Notre Dame and all this. I'm going, whoa. What? Keep in mind, those are potential losses. Like, you really want to make your schedule that much harder? No, you need those non-conference games that are easy W's and pad your win totals. Like, so it's so funny. All these fan bases like, yeah, get rid of these crappy non-conference games. Let's add some big dogs. Whoa, pump the brakes. Somebody has to lose. Like, you can't add all these great teams and be in a power conference and then go 12-0. Like, it's not reasonable. You're going to make your schedule that much tougher. So I always say pump the brakes. Like, if I'm talking about adding to the SEC, like, let's just say if you're an A&M fan, what makes sense adding to the SEC? I want like Wake Forest. I want Virginia. I want teams I know I can beat. I don't want Clemson and Notre Dame and all these teams. Like, it's going to make it that much harder. No.
Which is why you need Vanderbilt. You need Rutgers. You need these teams like that in your conference, because somebody has to lose. And if you keep adding super teams, then you're it's like the SEC West, Chris, right? If you put Mississippi State, Auburn, LSU, whomever in another conference, they're among the top. Sorry, but this year they might be in that mix for the bottom part.
Yeah, it's what I talk about all the time. Brett Bielema is a really good head coach. Brett Bielema didn't work at Arkansas. The SEC ate him alive. Jimbo, this is the big topic always, conversation I have about Jimbo. Jimbo's got to get to the playoff. He's got to win the SEC eventually, and I do think he's setting himself up well to do so with the recruiting. But what if he doesn't? What if we go 5 more years and Jimbo, gets to 10 wins, they get to a New Year's Six Bowl, but never breaks through and never wins the SEC West? It doesn't mean Jimbo's a bad coach. It just means this conference is so brutally tough. And, man, even in a year where you beat the Alabamas, you slip up and you lose to an Ole Miss or a Mississippi State. It's that brutal. I love the SEC and I love the conference, but let's not make things harder on ourselves. If you really care about the conference, we should be adding. If you want to add any more, if we're adding Oklahoma and Texas, let's go add, 2 middle tier to lesser tier teams that'll, Vanderbilt's around to help the GPA. Maybe we go find another school that can help the GPA collectively of the group. But just why would you want to make that road harder on yourself?
If the Jazz never won a championship during the Michael era, and really during the Dream era, and really during the Spurs era, does that take away from the Jazz how great that they were with Jerry Sloan? And I would say not in that rare air territory, but right at that next spot. So and by the way, you're right. They have to get to the playoffs. And I think that day is coming here in the next year or two. But we'll have to see how that plays out. What did you think about Brett Yorkman yesterday? I thought he came across really poised, and I liked there was something about the way he spoke about the future of the Big 12, kind of capturing the youth, and just there was a hip vibe to him.
Yeah, that was the antithesis of what we've seen from a lot of these old stodgy commissioners who are all very old school mindset and stuck in their ways and no, we don't want to expand and all this kind of stuff. He was open. He's like, hey, look, we're open to conversations about expansion. We want to help the recruits. And keep in mind, this is a guy coming from Jay-Z's agency that was representing players. So he's coming from a mentality where he knows where the players' mindsets are in this age of NIL and trying to make money and profit and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I like the new age way of thinking. And I think it's almost going to push guys like Greg Sankey, who I like and does a great job, to even, put himself in a mindset where he needs to keep evolving. Because I know he's even been one of those guys who's been outspoken against the NIL stuff in recent years. And, is of the old school mindset of, we're giving you a scholarship and room and board. What more do you need? It's a different time. It's a different day and age. And so, yeah, I was a little critical when I saw they were hiring, because I'm like, really? A guy who's never run college football before, has been running like Barclays Center and stuff, he's going to come in and run a conference? But no, I'm with you. I was a little impressed with what he had to say, and I think college football needs more leaders like that, not the Mark Emmerts who run and hide at the first sign of things that might be issues.
I have to be honest, I did not know his NASCAR background either. He was there, part of the imaging and the marketing that they did when they took it from being just a sport in the South to what NASCAR has become. And I know they've taken a step back a little bit, but they were a huge brand while he was there, and he was part of imaging them. And that's kind of the mindset that he has going into the Big 12. Makes me think the Big 12 is going to be here longer than the Pac-12.
And I tell you what, the Big 12, I think, is in a great spot. While the ACC is running for cover and they're like, oh, my God, what do we do? Can we keep Clemson or Florida State, Miami? Please don't go. Please stay. The Pac-12 is trying to, all right, who else can we add? What can we do as a conference? The Big 12 is in great shape. They're adding 4 great teams that they already announced is happening next summer, literally a year from right now. Houston, BYU, UCF, and Cincinnati will all be in the Big 12. I think the Big 12 is actually set up in a pretty good spot. Like, those are 4 great programs that they're adding to a mix of Baylor, who's shown that they're an instant contender now with Dave Aranda. Mike Gundy's still going strong at Oklahoma State. I think Texas Tech is going to turn things around. They just announced $200 million proposal for stadium improvements. So I think the Big 12, like, everybody wants to talk about, we're going to go from a Power 5 to a Big 3. And everybody wants to talk SEC, Big 10, and maybe some ACC, Pac-12 conglomeration. But I think the Big 12 is actually in a really good spot, all things considered.
Hey, let me ask you this. What about University of Houston, big picture? That I went through their schedule the other day, and I see this team with Clayton Tune coming back and all the weapons that they have and their schedule. And they don't, they've got the easier part of the American Athletic Conference schedule. I see them as a potential New Year's Six Bowl team, which I know is hard to say, but I mean, they can go 10-2 easily.
It all comes down to, for those who follow Dana Holgerson's career, I mean, his time in West Virginia and everywhere he's been, his team will be as good as his quarterback is. And so if Clayton Tune is that dude, I saw him I got to go to the Manning Passing Academy a few weeks ago, and I saw him in person. He looks bigger. He's put on some more muscle. If he's the real deal and he can take them through that schedule, I think Houston absolutely can. Now, you got two really brutal, tough starts with UTSA, who was a monster team a year ago, and then Texas Tech, who's, in a rebuild phase, but still it's never easy to go there and get tortillas thrown at you. I think U of H and Dana Holgorsen have a good chance here, but it's all about quarterback play, and it's also about recruiting. Them going into the Big 12, we're already starting to see them pick up some 4 stars and get on the radar of some 5 stars. They're going to have to get those guys in to compete in the Big 12, because we already know what Dave Aranda's doing at Baylor, Texas Tech, all these different schools. You got to recruit at a high level to compete. But you're right. I would not be surprised if Houston's right there in the conversation at the end of the year of an AAC champion and possibly doing what Cincinnati did last year and, getting into the playoff.
Gordy, let's go through some teams, and instead of being negative, like, what questions do you have about this team? Let's go positive. So when I'll name you a team, tell me what you really like about them, all right?
Okay.
A&M.
Dominant run game, dominant offensive line. I think defense is going to be even a little bit better. I know there's some concerns about losing Elko and all that, but I think on the back end, I think this is going to be one of the stronger secondaries A&M's had. And as we know, that's been a weakness through so many of their years. I think up front, they're fine. But, just my foremost positive, and it's Jimbo's, recipe for success. Dominant run game. We're going to eat up the clock. We're going to, have a dominant defense get you off the field. We're going to win a game 20-17. And I think A&M's in a great spot with an ice.
I will throw in one added touch. While I 100% agree with you, I think they have big playability now with Evan Stewart and with Anaya Smith coming back. They're going to be able to open up the field, which will open up the running game. So just want to throw that at you. LSU, I know you follow them closely. What is something you like about them?
Their front seven is really, really good. I don't think they're getting enough credit with B.J. Ojulari and Jaquelin Roy and Mason Smith. They got a lot of really young guys that are hungry. A couple guys are in their money year. I think LSU is going to get after it. The question is, what's the offense look like? I think Miles Brennan, if he ends up getting named the starter, I think is a great, he's a 6-year senior. He's a guy who's been around, seen a lot of football. When he was healthy, this is a guy who was throwing for 300, 400 yards a game just a couple of years ago. So I think the quarterback play can be fine, but with Brian Kelly, his calling card is offensive line, being dominant, being able to run the ball. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that, but I do know that front seven is going to get after it. They're going to get after quarterbacks. They're going to get some sacks. So I think that's LSU's biggest strength this year.
All right, Chris, let's go to the University of Texas. What do you unfortunately like about them?
I keep reading all these preseason watch lists and people, top 10 quarterbacks, and I'm seeing Quinn Ewers pop up on these lists. I'm going, how do we know? How do we know what he's going to be? I hope the kid does great. I think, a lot of people are hoping that he's the real deal. I wonder what Arch Manning's thinking, already committed there. Does he want Quinn Ewers to succeed, or is he hoping he falls flat on his face? And Arch Manning is starting in game 1 of 2023. But, so goes Quinn Ewers, so goes Texas. We already know Bijan Robinson's going to run the ball really well, and he's a great running back. Have some questions about their defense. That was their biggest problem last year, was getting off the field. But look, if Quinn Ewers is everything he's been hyped up to be, and he comes in and they got some new weapons and Xavier Worthy and all these different guys, if he is the real deal, I think Texas is going to flip the switch. I think they're going to jump to, 8-9 wins maybe this year. I don't know if they're going to beat Oklahoma. I don't know if they're going to compete for the Big 12, but I think that would be a huge step in the right direction. But it all relies on Quinn Ewers.
Ole Miss, what do you like about him?
I like the running backs they brought in. I like Zach Evans as an underrated kid, from the Houston area that, found a home at TCU. He had scholarship offers all over the SEC. He is an SEC-style running back. He's finally going to get an opportunity to showcase his talents. Their big problem is figuring out the quarterback thing. I know all this hope about Jackson Dart being the guy. I talked with Luke Altmaier at the Manning Passing Academy. That's a kid who's fearless. He wants that job. And we saw some glimpses in the Sugar Bowl when he was thrown in the fire when Matt Corral got hurt. He made some nice plays, also made some bonehead plays. But I think, don't be surprised if Luke Altmaier wins that job over Jackson Dart. But to me, it's the run game. I think Lane Kiffin's offense, one of the most underrated aspects since he's come to Ole Miss, has been how dominant their run game is. Like, nobody talks about it. It's always about the quarterbacks and all this, but Ole Miss has run the ball as good as anybody in the SEC the last couple of years.
I just question their defense with Durkin gone, some other names gone. I don't know. They're always going to have a good offense. I don't care who they put out there, but I question their defense. Mississippi State, what do you like about them?
Will Rogers, again, talk about underrated, one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the SEC. He was among the leaders last year in passing yards and touchdowns, and it's like he's an afterthought. I see people ranking SEC quarterbacks, and there's KJ Jefferson, and there's Hendon Hooker and Will Levis, and all these names. I'm going, wait, how far down do we have to get to Will Levis, who's going to be among the leaders again in passing yards in the SEC this year? I know it's the Mike Leach system, but we've seen, David, like quarterbacks in that Mike Leach system, the more years they're in it, the more comfortable they get. I talked with Will at the Manning Passing Academy. He told me, he's like, look, we get it. Our schedule is absolutely brutal. And if maybe they had an easier schedule, maybe Mississippi State, we're talking about a dark horse in the West and maybe a chance to, an outside chance at a playoff. But I agree with Will. The schedule is just absolutely brutal. So I think they'll be in some games with people. They'll get into some shootouts that maybe they're not, expected to be, but I just can't get over the schedule. I think it's too tough. But Will Rogers, you got the hardest part figured out. You got your franchise quarterback.
Let's get two more in. Auburn. Anything you like about them?
Love the run game. Tank Bigsby is really, really good. I'm excited that he's going to be at SEC Media Days next week. I think the offensive line is better than people are giving Auburn credit for. Their big problem is quarterback. Whether it's going to be Calzada, whether it's going to be TJ Finley, whoever. I think Calzada is going to win the job, and I think Calzada is going to be the steady hand. All the concerns and questions about, oh my God, who's this guy? He's not going to be the big time playmakers, you guys know, but he can get the job done, and I think they'll be in good hands if Calzada, keeps that interception total low this year, and they were able to get some running lanes for Tank Bigsby and company. I think that Auburn run game is going to be really, really good. I think Brian Harsin may just save himself with his coordinators in now in Jeff Schmedding and the guys that he wanted in there as his coordinators, as opposed to the guys that were kind of handed to him a year ago.
Talking to Chris Gordy here for one more. I'll give you the University of Miami. What do you like about him?
The quarterback, it doesn't get any better than that. When I look at what like everybody, there's so much hype for what they're bringing, what they're doing in recruiting and all that, but like you still got to show it to me a little bit first. But Tyler Van Dyke. Again, I keep bringing up the Manning Passing Academy. I saw him out there. Kid just looks like a leader. It's so funny how these kids react when they're talking at the Manning Passing Academy. They rotate groups so much. Some kids come up and, the quarterback goes, "Hi, I'm so-and-so. Here's my life story before we get to work." Tyler Van Dyke was like, "Let's just get to work. How you guys doing?" No pleasantries, no intros, just being a leader and let's get right down to business. So I know a lot of people are excited with what he did last year, 25 touchdowns and only the 6 interceptions. And obviously they got a monster game against A&M very early in the season. But I think Miami is on the right path. I don't know if they're there yet. Like, I think people are wanting to crown them. Oh, they're going to compete for the ACC and all this year. I don't think they're there yet. But Cristobal obviously crushing at recruiting, and they're going to be a problem in a couple of years.
Hey, I'll just say this. Obi went through Van Dyke's games, and he's got some impressive numbers, but he didn't really take on any very good defenses. So I guess we'll see when he takes on A&M here at Kyle Field what kind of quarterback he is, because if you look at some of the games he had, I mean, yes, he beat a couple top 25 teams, but those weren't necessarily good defenses.
Yeah, and you can only play who's on your schedule, right? So, I mean, it is what it is, but yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I think the A&M secondary, if they do their job, I think they'll absolutely get a couple turnovers on them, and that place is going to be rocking.
You got it, my man. Thanks so much. I'll see you next week.
All right, thanks, David.
Thank you very much. That is Chris Gordy on the BCSI Hotline, Locked On SEC podcast. Wonderful work that he does there. Appreciate his time here. All right, we're talking Caldwell Country Chevrolet, Highway 21 in Caldwell. Online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. You need a new car? Caldwell Country Chevrolet. You don't need a new car. You're going to eventually, right? So I just want to put it in the back of your mind, like when you're thinking about your car search, if it's now, in 3 months, in 2 years, start at CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. They put their deals on there first. But also think about just dealing with good old guys, right? Guys that love this university across the street from us, but guys that love this community. Zach Hester gives so much, and their first priority is customer service and getting you the best deal possible. We got a great deal. We got a great trade-in, which really made that deal even better. And I just love dealing with Caldwell Country Chevrolet. It is on Highway 21 in Caldwell, online at caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. About a 15-minute drive around to Caldwell, but a short conversation away. You'll see the difference when you step on the lot and you do business with Zach and the fellas there at Caldwell Country Chevrolet.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. You're invited to the Backing Bill benefit at Big Shots Golf. Aggie, former cadet, and community activist Bill Lartigue is recovering from a stroke. Back Bill and his family coming out to Big Shots on Monday, July 25th from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. Shop for Casa Kids, which runs through July, provides back-to-school clothes for kids in foster care in all 7 Brazos Valley counties. Find more information and drop-off locations at vfcbrazos.org. The Keep Brazos Beautiful Annual Awards Luncheon is Thursday, August 11th at the Hilton in College Station. To purchase tickets or for sponsorship info, email Allison at keepbrazosbeautiful.org. For more information about becoming a master gardener, visit brazosmg.com. Sign up now for the Zone All Access email newsletter. Find out the guest lineups, the giveaways, and take advantage of exclusive contesting and deals. Sign up now at zone1150.com. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Howdy, gun-loving enthusiast. The Six Bullets Gun Show is back in Bryan this weekend at the Brazos County Expo. That's this Saturday and Sunday, July the 16th and 17th. All your favorite gun companies in one place. Got any guns to sell? Bring them to the show. Thousands of buyers will be there. Admission is only $10. Come check us out at sixbulletstx.com. The Six Bullets Gun Show is this weekend at the Brazos County Expo. At Six Bullets, we got your six.
Gun lovers, it's time for the 13th annual Grimes County Gun Show this weekend at the Grimes County Expo Center in Navasota. That's this Saturday and Sunday, July 16th and 17th. Buy, sell, or trade, guns, knives, ammunition, and much more. Admission is only $5. Peace officers and kids 12 and under get in free. It's the 13th annual Grimes County Gun Show this weekend at the Grimes County Expo Center in Navasota. For more information, visit the Friends of Grimes County Facebook page.
Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Max Kellerman.
I think Steph is one of the most unique players the game of basketball has ever seen. But LeBron James is just different. He's in a different individual category. We can get into all the metrics. He's the leader in points, assists, rebounds, blocks, steals. I mean, the only thing he doesn't lead statistically by a wide margin is number of threes.
Listen in to Key, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor from 5 to 8 on the Zone.
All right, we're back, TexAgs Radio. Short segment here presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Wings and More is taking us to SEC Media Days next week. Thank you to them for setting that all up. Also, Mark Berman yesterday of Fox 26 in Houston tweeted out that apparently the Humble mayor declared yesterday as Kenyon Green Day in Humble. Obviously, he went to Atascocita High School, so they were honoring him, and he's taken in the first round by the Houston Texans. So, pretty cool deal for Kenyon to get that love. All right, in hour number 3 of the program, Brandon Leone. I don't know why my voice went up like that. He's joining the show. And then Louis Bellina's favorite segment, The Fan Show, presented by Girard Construction. We've got Roy May coming in, Kelly Adams, and Matt Browning. Oh yeah, they're coming in. They've got some hot sports takes. They asked me, is it going to be an hour again? No, only half an hour, guys. That's all you get until football season. It's TexAgs Radio.
Biggest problems today is that we are afraid to have others challenge our mindset, and therefore we avoid topics that could lead to challenging conversations. At a young age, we're told not to talk about anything that is remotely divisive, but without having challenging conversations, how do you know that what you're saying is your truth and not just something you were raised to believe? Having conversations is how we learn. It's important to be able to see the other sides of things in order to form an opinion and choose what's best for you. Let's say you were raised to shower with all your clothes on. You could go throughout life thinking that is the best way to get clean, and if you never meet anyone brave enough to talk about hygiene, then you may never know that there is a better way. There's no reason to be afraid of differences. Limiting yourself to certain topics can render yourself unable to talk to friends, coworkers, or even family. To avoid challenging conversations is the same as to keep your mind trapped in a little box. Open your box and start having more civic conversations.
Civility. It's an American thing. From AmericanThing.org.
This is Aggieland's home for Aggie football, Aggie basketball, and Aggie baseball. It's only 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Plus online at RadioAggieland.com. This is KZNE College Station, Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. On Monday and Wednesday, voluntary electric conservation requests were made by the operator of most of the state's power grid. The reason was reduced generation from alternative sources. That continues to be monitored during the heat wave by BTU General Manager Gary Miller.
Solar's good all the time as long as the sun is shining, regardless of whether there's cloud cover. If the wind's not blowing, we're not going to get anything.
ERCOT reported during yesterday's peak demand, wind power was generating at only 12% of capacity and solar power was generating at 68% of capacity. Two water districts serving portions of Bryan and College Station have implemented stricter conservation measures. The Wixon Creek District is asking its customers to stop all outdoor watering through Saturday. That's followed by watering on 2 designated days per week between 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. The Wellborn District is ordering customers to limit outdoor watering to 2 designated days per week between 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. The latest call from a local bank to police regarding criminal activity involves a 67-year-old Houston man using a fake driver's license and a fake debit card to attempt to withdraw $2,000 from another man's savings account. According to the College Station police arrest report, the victim did not know how someone would obtain his information. The man who was arrested told officers that someone else gave him the fake license and debit card. Carl Richard Brown remains in jail in lieu of bonds totaling $18,000. The public portion of College Station City Council meetings has historically started around 6 p.m., even though they could start as early as 5. Tonight is the first meeting where public business officially begins no earlier than 6 p.m. Elizabeth Cuna's request was unanimously approved June 9th.
We so rarely start them at 5, and I wondered if maybe we should put no earlier than 6 as a consideration for people who are attending the meeting and who are wanting to speak.
The delay is the time the council takes in executive session. For more news, go online to WTAW.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
We're here with Jason Rollo of Rollo Insurance. Jason, when we say the difference is real, what does that mean?
Well, first of all, when we use the term real, we're speaking about being genuine. And I think that anyone who does something in a good way has to be genuine. But also when I think about the term real, I think about rates, education, assets, and life. Many people think that insurance is about rates. Although that's important, it's actually about education of what you're buying to protect your assets, and we want to do that for the life of the client.
For more information, go to RolloInsurance.com/TexAgs.
A half a ring of Cooper's world-famous regular or jalapeno sausage cooked to perfection, cowboy style, over mesquite coals. Then paired with one of your favorite homemade Cooper sides, beans and barbecue sauce. That's what you get when you ask for Cooper's Old Time Pit Barbecue's Saw-'em-Off Sausage Special. Only $9.99. Experience the taste of locally Aggie-owned, nationally recognized Cooper's Old Time Pit Barbecue. Voted best barbecue in the Brazos Valley and proud supporter of Texas A&M Athletics.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. This Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click HilcoSupply.com. Humboldt, Texas Mayor Norman Funderburk declared yesterday as Kenyon Green Day for the Houston area city. Green, a former standout at Atascocita High School, was a 3-year starter on the offensive line for A&M, being named an AP First-Team All-American last year. He also became the 36th Aggie to be taken in the first round of the NFL Draft, getting selected 15th overall by the Houston Texans. Well, the Texas A&M takeover on the SEC network kicked off last night. Beginning at 11 p.m., the channel started airing 24 straight hours of Aggie content, including several big sports moments from over the past year. Still on tap is baseball's super regional victory over Louisville. That rebroadcast is set for today at 3 p.m. Meanwhile, football's last-second victory over Alabama will be played at 6 o'clock. And the Brazos Valley Bombers scored 8 runs in the first 3 innings en route to a 14-4 walloping over the Seguin River Monsters last night. Jackson Cobb, Braden Evans, and Ben Harmon all had tremendous performances at the plate, combining for 8 hits and 6 Bombers runs. Aggie Brandon Bishop also got into the offense, going 2 for 3 with 3 walks. With the victory, the Blue and Gold improved to 22-10 on the summer. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
The Louis Bellina Show and Field of Family would love for you and your family to have the bestest, greatest summer ever. Enter now, go to zone1150.com, and you can win a Texas Summer Survival Kit. Go to Fiesta, Texas, Six Flags. Go to Cinemark Theater. Go to a Brazos Valley Bombers game. Win a gift card to Superior Auto Service and Field of Family. Enter now. You can win. Treat the family to a Texas Summer Survival Kit. Go to zone1150.com.
I'm living in that 21st century.
Bang your head to this one. I don't care who you are. I see Brandon doing it. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. SEC Media Day is coming up. I keep telling you guys because I'm excited. I've actually been thinking about this for a long time. Initially thought it was going to be in Nashville, but it's next year that it's in Nashville. I've never been to Nashville, but I've been to the ATL not too long ago. And let's go straight to the BCSI hotline where the guy who's banging his head joins us, Brandon Leone, my friend, and also a big part of TexAgs staff and Aggie football history. What's going on this morning, my man? How you doing?
I'm good, brother. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Those biceps are looking a little big today.
You know what, man? To be honest with you, I think they're looking a little small. These larges that everybody talked me into wearing are a little too big for me. I need to go back to my schmediums.
Nah, bro. If you put the schmediums on, you're going to embarrass everybody. So you're being humble right now by keeping the large shirt on.
Whatever. All 110 pounds of me. All right, let's get into it, Brandon. This is an interesting part of the year because everybody's optimistic, except for maybe Vandy. But a lot of people are optimistic when it comes to this year. Mm-hmm. What do you like about heading into media days, if you will, from an A&M perspective, just throughout the years?
Well, I mean, I remember when I was still working with TexAgs full-time, probably 3 or 4 months before I transitioned into a different profession, we went to SEC Media Days for the first time. And I had been to Big 12 Media Days the year before, and it was like, they trotted the mascots out, and it was just kind of like, man, this is lame. And we got to SEC Media Days, which you've experienced it now, right? You went to last year.
Yep.
It's insane, dude. Like Media Row when you walk in, and then, when Saban shows up, and then when all the different, at the time, it was like Malzahn was at, or no, not Malzahn. Who won the Natty at Auburn? Chiswick.
Gene Chiswick,
It was Gene Chiswick, and so for me, I had only been doing this for about a year at the time, and I met Bruce Feldman. I was on Cole Kubelich's local radio show he was on before he was on the SEC network, and so it's just exciting, man. It's kind of that first prelude of like, hey, we're here. I mean, we're a few weeks out from fall camp starting. All the hype is getting, written about everybody. You might get a couple snippets from head coaches and players that are going to be, bulletin board material. And so it just kind of gets the juices flowing for everything. And I'm only a fan now, but I'm excited for everybody to go. And it's always fun watching all the interviews and everything from each team.
Only a fan? What are you talking about? Post-game rap? You're my guy. You and CT are my guys. You're more than a fan. You break it down, dude.
No, for sure. I'm jealous, man. I wish I was going. Who else is going to go with y'all? Who do y'all bring up there this year?
You could probably end up going. The whole staff, I feel like, is going. We got Zane's going. Dalton's going. OB's going. Lucci's going. Well, Kennedy's going. Jamie's going. I'm going. So 7 of us.
Awesome. Hey, Kennedy, she's talented. She's got if she decides to stay in this industry and move forward with it. I've only seen a couple things she's done, but she's super confident. She's well spoken, and I think she's got a bright future in this. Everybody there is talented, but I've only seen her a little bit, never met her, but she's super sharp.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, my friend. All right, so
for sure.
Next week, what storyline are you most intrigued by? Because there's a lot going on. I mean, NIL still a topic. College football playoffs is a topic. Transfers are a topic. Jimbo Saban, will be a topic. Just what do you want to hear?
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be, and it's been well documented and well talked about. I think the Jimbo Saban thing is going to be very interesting. I do believe that NIL, the transfer portal, are things that will continue to be, harped on by the media, and it's two things that I think need to be addressed. I'm not an expert by any means, but I do believe that those two things are changing the game of college football as we know it. And I'm a fan of players being taken care of. Listen, for me, when I was at A&M, scholarship check was all I got, and so it was important to budget it as best I could, and I was dumb. And so I know there's a lot of kids that come from backgrounds that need, more assistance, and it's a gift and it's a blessing to have school paid for. But I think there's got to be some changes made to NIL, man. It's the freaking Wild West. People are probably not doing it the right way. And it's just going to be, it's free agency, man. You get these kids, these top kids, they pick their top 3, 4, or 5. I can only imagine that they're hitting up schools and be like, all right, what's it going to be? And so no longer is it about a coach's ability to, or at least it's minimized a little bit about a coach's and a staff's ability to just recruit. I think it's just going to trend in the wrong direction. And then transfer portal. I mean, how much do you benefit as a player when you stay at a school, you work your tail off, you get better, you learn a system, and your junior year, you start to become a player and a contributor. Well, now these kids are all so hyped up because of how big recruiting's got that if they're not the guy on day one, it's like, I'm out. I'm going to go to this school instead. And so used to, when I played, you had to sit out a year. And if you transferred intra-conference, you had to sit out 2 years. And so it's a big debate, I think, that will continue to go on, not just at SEC Media Days, I think, for a long time. But from a football standpoint, I think the SEC West, it's going to be fun to see what Arkansas does this year. If Lane Kiffin's going to always bring some fire and probably annoy some people and piss people off. But the SEC West is going to be, I think, pretty talented, like it is every year. You know what I'm saying? I think it's going to be fun to see.
Back to your transfer thought, one of the things that I hate about it is great players will, and they've already started, but for sure we're going to see more of it. Great players are going to leave even if things are good. So, for instance, Bryce Young is the example that I've heard used before, but whomever, all right? Quarterback takes his team to a national championship. Stetson Bennett, for instance, all right, or whomever, takes them to a national championship. They win. Everything's going great. But he can get $10 million down the road, and he hasn't transferred. He's only getting $8 million or whatever at his school. You know what? I'm going to take the $2 extra million. I'm going to transfer. I'm going to try to win here. Like, that is the part that I don't like. I understand transferring if you aren't happy because of the situation. I understand transferring if you're not going to start for 3 years and you can start immediately somewhere else, or it's better situation for you. But there needs to be some kind of quote unquote contract with the school before you can just move so freely.
No, 100%. I mean, look, there's plenty of good reasons to transfer. If you sign with a coach, or for instance, I signed with RC. They fired him December of my freshman year, and they brought in a guy that I would not have played for. And speaking of that, side note, Nuño, give me a second here. Well documented on TexAgs that my thoughts on my time under Dennis Franchione, and that's all fun and games now that it's passed. But I do want to say this: I got a text message yesterday from a former teammate that Coach Fran is really struggling with cancer, and it's not going very well. And so, for anybody that's an Aggie or anybody that's a believer, I would ask and encourage you to pray for him and his family. I don't know all the details, but I know for someone to reach out to me and text me and say, hey, we need to pray for Dennis. So I would just encourage everybody listening to lift Dennis and Kim and their family up in prayers, because I don't think it's going well. And so I know he needs as much prayers as he can get. So
yeah, thoughts and prayers to Coach Fran, who
little side note there. But yeah, if you sign with a coach and it's a different guy comes in with a different system, man, there's an opportunity. And I think it makes sense to go maybe sign with a coach that was your number 2 or number 3 that's been at a school for a while. Mm-hmm. If you have family issues going on, maybe someone in your family or parent or grandparent has health issues, you want to be closer to home. There's good reasons, but just I'm second, third string, and it's not going the way I want it to, so I'm going to bounce. Or this other school promised me more money and these other things, which they probably won't follow through on. I just don't think that should be a thing, man. Personally,
yep,
I don't think it should.
I agree, but I also agree with a player should be able to make some kind of money. I don't know if I agree with that.
Me too.
I say that because I think that's what you're supposed to say. I don't know how I feel about anything. Like, the weird part is I'm open. Like, I can see why they should get paid. Yeah, the universities are making all this money. They should get paid. I'm not saying that they shouldn't, but I also kind of miss the old ways, which they were still getting paid, but we didn't know as much. But whatever. Let's move on. I want you to break down running backs because I know you know that position so well. I'm going to give you a few of the A&M running backs, and we might even go into beyond that. Break down what you like or what you don't like. Just give me your analysis with A-Chain.
I think he's a Heisman caliber talent. My brother-in-law and I, Luke, we would talk about last year about Spiller versus A-Chain. And man, when I tell you that dude was team A-Chain all the way, like he would always tell me like, look, I love Spiller, but Devon's the guy. And so for me, the positives of him is he can break a game open at any time. When you have world-class speed like that, you're just a threat. And a lot of times you get these track guys that try to play football, and they're not really football players. They're just track guys. Devon has balance. I mean, you see people bounce off of him. He's very strong for his size. You can't hold the fact that he's not a typical size against him. I think he runs very hard. I think he's strong. I think he has great balance, great vision. He catches the ball well. I mean, there's not a lot to hold against him. I think if there was a negative or maybe an area of improvement or even maybe an unknown for me, the thing I would like to see is, how durable will he be? I know he's strong, but if he's getting 25 or so touches, including special teams a game, can he hold up to the grind of the SEC? I hope he can. I think he can, but that's just a question when you have a guy that's a little bit smaller. But as far as talent goes, I just don't know. He's got to be top 3 most talented running backs in the country, in my opinion.
And he's yoked up, man.
Yes.
Stature, I get it, but he's a bigger than you think also when you stand next to him.
That's exactly right.
LJ Johnson.
Well, LJ Johnson looks a little bit more like a typical running back. He looks like an every down type of back. I mean, he would produce significant amount of yards in high school and was one of the top running backs in the country. And so I think, he brings a lot to the table because he's fast too. I think they said he's been clocked at like a low 4.4 before. For his size, that's impressive speed. And I think he's one of those guys that is when you think of an every down back type running back, I think LJ kind of fits the mold a little bit more from the traditional, thought of a running back. But to me, he's got great vision as well. I think he's proven that he was tough. He carried the football a lot in high school. And so for him, he just needs to stay healthy. If he can stay healthy, I'm super excited about what he can bring to the table. Those two guys together, I think from a talent standpoint, I think the running back room is just increasing every year with the guys we're bringing in.
So you mentioned that A-Chain should or could be a Heisman candidate, a top 3 guy. So I'll ask you, who's got the best backfield in the country? They've got some options out there. You can add A&M to the mix, but who do you think?
I mean, it's hard to not say Alabama almost every year. I mean, they constantly bringing in guys. And look, you got to pay respect. Bijan is a phenomenal running back, the Texas guy. Mm-hmm. He's a stud. There's just no doubt about it. It'd be interesting to see how he would do, in a tougher conference with more physical style of play. I mean, there is physical players in the Big 12. I mean, you can't just say there's no one physical. Everybody's soft. That's not true. There's good players there, but the SEC is a different grind. So it'd be interesting to see Bijan, but it's hard to say it would be A&M, David, just because of the lack of experience. I mean, you got Devon. I think he's obviously one of the top running backs and players in the country, but LJ, Amari Daniels, a lot of those guys are talented, but they're unproven. And so I feel like, let me table that question for A&M, but I don't know. I guess I don't know enough about everybody's backfield in the country to try to figure that out. But I think Texas has got to be in the conversation too, just because Bijan and whoever's behind him. But
a hot button issue that came up on the show today, just Pro Football Focus had their list of top 10 quarterbacks, okay? And I'm not asking you to analyze all these quarterbacks, but the thing that it came out of it was Quinn Ewers was on that list. I've said this a couple times on this show. He might be, but I don't know. And they don't know either because he hasn't played college football. It's like you can't put Haynes King on there right now. He's only played. You could put him before Quinn because he's played a little bit. But if you haven't seen this guy play at this level, you can't already put them at the top 10. But yet he is, and I just throw that out to you, Brandon.
First of all, I believe PFF has heavily influenced from some Longhorn fans. But look, the kid is super talented, and I have some friends in the coaching industry that have coached against him, and they say he has the caliber and the potential to be one of those elite guys. But like you said, man, you haven't proven anything yet as far as a Division I football player goes. Potential's through the roof. He's in a good system. I think he's got a couple of talented players alongside him. But to me, it's just all click. It's all hype. For PFF to put him in there as their top 10 quarterbacks. There's so many quarterbacks that played last year and played at a high level and have been multi-year starters or super talented after 1 year. Maybe he could be top 10 potential, but I don't think he's a guy that you say is a top 10 quarterback in the country right now. I think that's just stupid.
Hot sports take.
Personally,
I'd put Max Johnson in the top 10 before I put Quinn Ewers because we've seen the film.
100%.
27-6 or whatever it was.
Yeah, touchdown interception ratio is amazing in the SEC West with a pretty crappy offensive line. Not the typical talent that you would see around an LSU quarterback, but he still had a good year. And golly, man, the guy earned my respect on Thanksgiving night. We were absolutely drilling him all night. And at the very end of the game, dude walks down. I don't know why we went into prevent, but he walks down the field and scores the game-winning touchdown on us. Dude, I have nothing but respect for him.
I was maybe 15 yards away from him. I was standing parallel to where the offensive line was. And Michael Clemens was eating that lunch. He was in the backfield. Was it 2 sacks on that final drive? Yet he made the big throw when he had to. He should have never come to that, but he made the big throw when he had to.
Should not. He did make the big throw when he had to, and it was perfect.
Yeah.
It was a perfect throw. And again, I wasn't necessarily thrilled with our calls on that last drive. I'll never understand it to this day. Good luck at Duke, Coach. But man, that was a frustrating last set of calls on defense for sure. No doubt.
Was that more frustrating or Mississippi State?
You just don't understand the level of dislike I have for LSU. So yeah, Mississippi State's disappointing because I feel like we might be the first team in history that sweeps the Alabama schools and then gets swept by the Mississippi schools. It's just a very A&M thing we did. But anytime we lose to a Mississippi school, I'm pissed because it just doesn't make sense to me. I just don't think that should happen. I really don't think that should ever happen. LSU, you can get it because they're a good program. But I was pissed. I'm still pissed. I talked about it this morning. I was still pissed about the LSU game, to be honest.
Hey, and by the way, that game just changes the entire narrative. The entire narrative. You win that game, 9-3, potentially 10 win. It changes the whole narrative. Yeah. But we're not going to play the what if game because I've done that enough.
No, we won't. Let's get past it.
We just did it, but we're acting like we didn't. That's the cool part of it. Last thing for you. We played a game earlier, Would You Rather, okay? And one of these came up that
Careful with that one.
Oh, I know, right? You got to be real careful. But one of the ones that came up, I think you can talk to because you grew up in Houston. So, would you rather be Charles Barkley or Robert Horry?
Oh, H down to Cali like I'm Robert Horry, baby. That's Fat Pat. He's a Houston rapper.
Thoughts and prayers?
Charles Barkley, man. Charles Barkley's my guy. I'm a huge fan. If that show, I don't even care about the NBA anymore. When I was a kid, I knew everybody, everywhere they went. Like The Last Dance is one of my favorite documentaries ever because it's so nostalgic to me from the 90s and 80s. But Charles Barkley, to me, he speaks his mind, right? He's who he is. He's comfortable in his skin. He's hilarious. He was an extremely talented basketball player. Most people probably don't remember how dominant he was. With the 76ers. Dominant, man. Quick, fast, explosive. Love seeing him in Houston, but Robert Horry, man, that dude did it, man. What did he win? 6 championships?
7
or more.
7,
right? So 2 with Houston, couple with San Antonio, and couple with LA, right?
Yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah, that guy, he had a good life, man. He made some good money. He's obviously a really good parent, and he's invested in his family. But I would have to say Barkley, man. That's my guy. I'm a big fan of Charles Barkley. I really am.
Brandon, we appreciate you, sir. Looking forward to catching up during the season and, of course, on the post-game wrap.
Yes, sir. Can't wait. Thanks for having me, Dave.
Thanks, Brandon. Brandon Leone there on the BCSI hotline. I can talk to Brandon about anything. Kanye, Barkley, A&M football, obviously. He's just always good stuff here on the program. When we come back in open segment, we'll get to your text messages. I see a couple of those, and on the chat as well. And then at 10:35, the New Fan Show, presented by Girard Construction. That and more here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. BCS Habitat for Humanity is hosting its annual Bowl to Build tournament on Friday, July 15th from 6 to 9 p.m. at Grand Station Entertainment. Space is limited, so go online to habitatbcs.org to learn more and sign your team up today. Wellborn Community Center is having a garage sale Saturday morning from 8 to noon. Local law enforcement agencies are participating in a rowing competition to raise funds to support the Sexual Assault Resource Center. Battle of the Badges is Saturday, July 16th at Row House College Station. The event is open to the public. Visit sarcbv.org. Find out more about current and upcoming events and exhibitions at the University Art Galleries in the MSC. Go online to uart.tamu.edu. Enter now at zone1150.com to win your Texas Summer Survival Kit thanks to Field to Family. Win tickets to Fiesta Texas, the Bombers, the Cinemark Theater, and gift cards to Superior Auto Service and Field to Family. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Optimum Mobile wants those good summertime vibes to last all year with big savings.